Did you see that message in there? Edgy cough then, Gaz. Oh, me, that one else.
I was trying to do technology. I was trying to download a customer's details onto WhatsApp, so I could send them some images of patios. It was just some sheer fluke I managed to do it. No idea how.
Good evening, all. Welcome back to this week's GKP Live. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody had a good week up to press. I'm looking forward to the weekend. How's your week's been, guys?
Superb.
Work for you, Daz. Rick's been on holiday. First day back, Rick?
Yeah, straight back into it. Can't stop, can you? It's always scary going back because you just sort of waiting to look under a cover or in a pond or he's gone horribly wrong.
He's doing gently.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
No problem.
Not undercovered any major issues, so yeah,
that's good.
Some extreme bush trimming.
Bush trimming.
No, I'm saying no. So you've had somebody going around, haven't you? I got to see a little bit of inside footage of some work somebody did over there, trimming around and fettling up.
Lost him in a pond somewhere. So chop that down. Off he went.
Off he went.
No swimming again.
Did a great job, man. He shifted tons, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we used to have a full time. We used to have someone used to come in literally 2-3 days a week, constantly. Just that was their job, just trimming.
Just doing that.
But it just becomes another member of staff that's got to be paid, and
it
looks nicer. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it?
If it's not covering in the salary, mate, it's a difficult expense, isn't it? If you're not, kind of producing. But we were only saying same over week, Daz, weren't we? It only takes that couple of days, and you can soon start getting behind on everything. And then before you know it, you're playing catch up for weeks.
Yeah.
We've been playing catch up for years, mate. I think. I don't think we've ever caught up. But it's kind of part and parcel because the minute you get close to being on top of stuff, you decide you're going to build something more. Let's put some more ponds in. Let's do something else. Then you just make yourself more work, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's all good.
Well, main thing is that everything's all right. That's always a bonus, isn't it? When you get back to work and everything's all right. You can't.
Yeah, it's all checked all the time, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? Someone might have not used to checking certain ponds, or there's ponds all over the shop. So
yeah.
Same when any of us go away.
How was the festival theme then?
Festival was good, mate. Yeah, it was an older, beautiful days. It's more older people. So it's older people.
What are we talking about? Are we talking old?
No, it's just more my age, even perhaps even older. A lot of families and whatever. So it's a much more chilled out sort of vibe rather than the last one we went to, where it's average age of about 21. It's just a bit hardcore, isn't it? Yeah,
that's what we want.
They all have their different. All festivals have different people, different bands, different vibes. Yeah, that's nice.
Was there an ABBA tribute there?
ABBA? No, there was no ABBA. Probably no big bands really. The Verve played. They're quite a big band back in the day. Bit of Sweet Symphony, nice. Yeah.
That'd have been all right. I'd have enjoyed seeing them. That'd have been good.
Was Travis?
No Travis, mate. No. That was about it. Cast. That's another one from that generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more folk music, a bit fiddly diddly.
Oh. Hillbilly.
You just unsold it.
Look at the
Yeah.
Wow. DT Joyce says 60s plus then, Rick. Ooh, yeah. That's you in shit list, mate.
Yeah. To be honest, I got back last night, straight out to football. I was in for like 4 minutes. They were short of a player. Straight back out. Sorry, Zoe.
What's this man for a kick about?
Gone for another 90 minutes. It's kind of killed me, to be fair.
Yeah.
Did you win?
We did, but I don't think I was the main reason we won. Yeah.
Right then. Are you going to the show this weekend?
No, mate. I'm literally on. We tried to work out. I think I'm off. I'm kind of off this weekend, but I'm not. I've got Ez, and then I'm working Monday for 19 days straight before I go to France. I think it is.
Oh my god!
So we're just trying to work that out. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's the 14th. I've been picked 13th night, so I'll work the 13th. Picked up from work, straight to France for a week.
Week fishing.
Week
That's
fishing.
gonna be good. Yeah.
I still haven't got any fishing kit, to be honest. I'm literally, I'm being picked up and borrowing other people's stuff. It's like,
Yeah, everything gone, mate, didn't it? I forgot about that. Yeah.
no. Yeah, I've got a bit, so I'll get by, but it's just so easy that, yeah. The guy I'm going with is like a tackle tight. He's got 3 spare rods, 3 spare reels, 3 spare alarms.
Oh, you're laughing then, aren't you?
It won't be spare by the time I get there. So, but yeah, it's just trying to balance up. Yeah, because we've got Sean and Carl will both work Barn Stomper Festival next weekend, so I've got to work straight through. And then the following weekend, we've done this YouTube thing. I've got to work straight through.
Oh yeah,
So it's going to
be YouTuber Fest.
It's going to be good.
Yeah,
I've been there all week. We've got a week at New Forest, just round the corner from you at New Milton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You might as well come and work then.
there you go.
That'll go down great with the wife.
Yeah.
When
Should be laughing.
I'm happy to see you.
Where you at Naish?
No, New Milton. It's only around the corner from you. It's like literally 5 minutes away. We'll pass your place.
I have to drive past it to get to work every day.
It's like a big caravan site. All big residential caravans.
Naish, Bashley, one of those.
Yeah, it's around that area. Yeah.
When you're there, I'm just tapping you up next week.
Yes, come on.
Yeah, just tell us. I'm just going out to walk the dog. Like 8 hours later.
Whip round and pick you up. Gone. You'll be tracking anyway, Dash. You know where you are.
Yeah. The dog cracks me up anyway.
You're down for a week and then you're coming back next Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually. Oh, are you? Are you going home then coming back?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've got to drop a cell off, haven't I?
That makes sense. I don't mean that. I don't mean dropping a cell off. I meant the travelling there and travelling back. You should have just digged it.
It's all right. She's doing the driving.
Oh, that's all right then. So you're just driving back down then when we all go. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gents, if anybody's got any questions they'd like to, or topics they'd like to talk about this evening, you do us a huge favour. Just jot them down with a capital question or in capital letters. Excuse me, just to make them stand out a little bit more than they would do normally. A massive thanks for everybody that's joined us. We're already up to over 103 people watching. If you could do us a huge favour, give that thumbs up a whack and let's help share it out to a wider audience. This evening we've got the Garomo for the Koi Appreciation. I'm not 100% sure how many's sent through. Normally I get a chance to have a bit of a look, but I was literally stuck in on the M62 from a vehicle fire for about 2.5 hours on the way home. So it's been a bit of a slog. I've literally walked in from a down my neck and then Rick joined. So we were here 2 minutes to go and it was time to go live. So we've got a few to have a look at. I don't think we've got too many, but we will see. Oh, we've got a few. Sweet. More than what I thought. Happy days. Yeah. There's a few Garomos to have a look at this evening. Have we got any topics or questions? I don't think we have within the Facebook one. Your phone's buzzing, Daz.
I better answer it then.
No. It's making like a vibration sort of noise. Well, there's a quick question now.
Turn the sound down.
Question, Ricardo, when's the next netting and what are they?
Is that better?
We get some fish out tomorrow. mostly at Surrey type stuff from this year's spawnings. So yeah, go through some of them, have a look. Yeah, Kinky at Surrey, he at Surrey. Showers, probably. It's kind of on the cards. Apart from we're netting up on for weed, trying to miss the fish and net weed out, but that's not very exciting. But yeah, we're not. I don't want to get too many fish out at the minute. It's trying to get them out to almost to orders. So Friday's not a great day. We'll get some for the shop, but yeah, we try and wait for a load of orders to build up, and then sort the fish out to starve them, and yeah, less time.
Get ready for them posting them out.
Yeah. So if all goes to plan tomorrow, yeah, we'll get a sample net out of there just so I can do a photograph video, get them advertised as what size they are, what varieties they are, what mixes, and yeah, they'll be ready for next week.
And is it not this other day last call for all your fry for this season?
Or
was that last week? Or this week?
Been and gone.
It's been and gone. Sorry, I just saw it come up in Facebook the other day. But it might be that just somebody posted a comment on it and it refreshed it. So that's been and gone. So
yeah, we had a few thousand little jags left, which have all gone out. And then, yeah, we've got a few bits to go through, but we won't. There's kind of still a bit of a waiting list. So they'll get offered first dibs. And hopefully that'll be that all finished and done.
Happy days. So that's the end of the spawning then this year?
The end, the spawners were all finished. The last round, what was that, a month ago?
Successful season then? Do you reckon?
So far, touch wood, everything's gone pretty much according to plan. It's just
you're not been having as many kind of troubles or problems with the heron like you were doing last year.
No, we've had more troubles with kingfisher this year. Kingfisher.
Have you really?
Times 20. I don't know.
My God.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had a hawk population move in. Literally, there's so many kingfishers. We've got sparrowhawks and the peregrines and whatever have all just descended on the farm, chasing the kingfishers around.
I thought kingfishers were territorial. I didn't realise that they'd tolerate each other.
I think you get, if there's enough food, which there is everywhere, and then they have a successful brood. So each pair would have 6, 8, 10, but I don't know. They just suddenly, like a little blue spark
like
flying.
gremlins. Yeah.
So we sort of encourage. Well, we didn't encourage the hawks. The hawks have encouraged themselves. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the herons have been much better this year. We haven't done anything different really, but not at the same time.
That's good though, isn't it? It was a lot because last year you were getting a lot of fish getting damaged, weren't you? And getting
we probably will
big fish as well.
Yeah.
Attacking.
But certainly this summer, they've not been an issue at all, hardly. So
when does it become your official harvest time then for a koi farm in UK, or do you just harvest throughout the year to meet demand of orders?
Partially, and to grade and sort, and so we're already harvesting this year's stuff continually. It's almost a constant process. We won't harvest. We had to do them up on the other day because the water's just been ranking all year. They haven't. It's just been off. It's just one of those. The ponds are getting a bit silted up. So we had to harvest that early. Some of them will be available for the YouTube weekend once we do that. So should be good.
Happy days. Now we got a question then. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Dr. Campos was the last one. Question using treatment that states UV needs to be turned off, yet the pond gets UV from the sun.
It does. It's just the UV from the sun breaks down the chemicals, but you just quadruple dosing it if you're running it through a UV as well. So it'll break it down faster. So it's just reducing that. You can't stop the sun. The
intensity that it goes through on the UV being...
And in this country, I think. But
don't have to worry about it with UV in West Yorkshire anyway, that is for sure. We only had 4 days of sunlight. Fucking freezing last night.
Yeah.
So a lot of treatments say that you need to knock it off and turn them off, though, don't they? There's a lot of them. Is it really? Is it as necessary as they say? I'm not saying it isn't. I just every treatment I never turn it off.
It depends on the trouble is you have one person might be running a 10 watt UV on their pond, and the next person's got 250 watts of UV on their pond.
Which would be
you can degrade the chemical faster. So yeah, something that's works.
I always forget every time to switch mine off, and if I do remember to switch it off, then I forget to turn the damn thing back on, and then my water goes green. That's why I've always thought, sorry, just leave the damn thing on. But
yeah, I think the low wattage ones and stuff, it's not really an issue. It's not intense enough. It's not not a major problem. But most of our systems, we don't run UV, or if we do, we don't generally turn them off. But you might, just monitor the fish. And if you're treating for a problem, if the problem's dealt with, it's dealt with, isn't it?
it's dealt with, yeah.
It's not.
I don't know. I mean, what do you guys do? Do you always turn yours off? Do you always switch off your UVs when you're treating as well?
I never do.
Where you been, Gaz? Being warm here. I don't live there, Dave. I live here. You live there. That's two different places, isn't it? I'm another what? Don't know. God knows how many 1,000 feet above where you are. It's a bit. It's been last night was freezing cold. Yeah, proper dropped off cold. I bet it dropped 10 degrees last night at least. But it was windy as hell and blowing a gale as well. Tree blew over in back garden, pots all over the place this morning when I got up. So blowing a hula.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to polytunnel the whole garden, aren't you? Stop it.
Yeah.
Problems.
I'm getting there slowly.
Paul says he always turns it off. Like you say, it's remembering to turn it back on. That's my biggest problem, mate. That's every time I've done it. I turn off if the bottle or packet says, yeah.
To be honest, I haven't bothered. I've reconfigured my fry tanks and having improved the filtration, and I haven't bothered putting a UV on, and they're staying clear. Whether it's the filtration that's taking the green out, I don't know, but yeah.
It's weird. Every pond, we were cleaning out our broodstock tunnel today, so cleaning the filters, de-weeding it, doing whatever. And there's 3 ponds in there that just stay clear. There's we don't use any UV in there. It's simple shower, all the crud runs through it, big settlement, filtration in there, and 3 or 4 just run clear, and some just stay continually green. And we couldn't really, we won't just that's just the way it is. But actually, we're cleaning them out today, and the chambers that have got the flow core in were all clear, and the chambers that got all the brushes in were all green. It's like, perhaps I need a bit more flow core in some of them. It doesn't make any difference, and I don't know if it does, but you get fed pretty much the same amount of food, the same water source, similar weights of fish in them.
Yeah.
And it's some are just pea soup green, and some are.
And some tanks, they could be green, and then all of a sudden they go clear overnight, more or less, for no reason.
Yeah, you just get different things going on that you might not clock, or if you get a type of algae, obviously when we had a real hot spell, all the algae it almost goes into a stress situation. So the green water that's just super green colonizes up and hits the surface in like mats of jelly.
Yeah,
do that by the end of the day, and it's almost like it's going into a strange gelatinous thing, and you think, oh, that'd be easy to filter.
That's
green again. It's just, I think the temperature and the sunlight must hit a point where the algae just doesn't like it, and it doesn't give up. It just, like I say, makes this weird mat. The water underneath stays quite a lot cooler, and then by the next day, the whole pond's green again. It's just gone back into.
Yeah, yours has done that, hasn't it? I've seen that.
It's bizarre, yeah.
You stick your arm in, when you put your arm in or whatever, you end up with it all gooed all over your arm. It's like a glove, but then so that might be a temperature-driven event thing like that.
I think it's just one of those things. Algae does some strange. If you stress it to the point of it's going to kill it, it does some weird. It's quite easy to sort of take out some of it at that point.
Yeah, when it gets air bubbles in it, it forms like a floating scum, and you can just scoop it all up.
Next one then. We've got a few questions this evening. I know this has been spoken about a few times, but I have a birthday next month. I don't remember discussing that one, Paul. people asking what I want, what's one koi book? God damn it, man! What one koi book would you choose? Now then, there's a good question. A good koi book. Now, Crafty would have always said the one that he always talks about, but does bring out the Bible. It's a simple book, but it's got quite a fair bit of information in it, to be fair. And it's not a bad read.
It covers most of the varieties as well.
It does, yeah. It is more of a basic book. Don't get me wrong. I'm not denying that, but it's relatively cheap. Crap. And it's quite easy to find a copy of it.
There's two
as well, but it does have quite a lot of information in it. Now it is a basic book, without going to the mass extremes, but you get what you pay for. There's information in there. There's everything that you need to know about it. But there's lots of other books out there, and if Crafty jumps on and joins us later, I will go back to that one, mate, and get him to bring that book up that I know he spoke about. I know there's a one that Aaron has, which is a part 1 and part 2, which is a very good book as well.
Yeah.
So that might be Aaron, if you could see everybody's there. Koi Kichi. Everybody's got Duncan Griffith's book. Everybody's got a book of their own particular choice. But at the end of the day, mate, all the information is relatively similar from one book to the other. There are some that have got more in-depth stuff if you wanted to go into like patterns and such and everything else, or types, breeds, and everything else. They'll go in a bit more detail with them. But I think any book, if you get knowledge from it, is well worth the read, mate. But that one can be found on Amazon from Amazon from around about 16, 17 quid. And you can normally find a second-hand copy of it on eBay from less than a tenner. Most people have them. But it's an interesting read, mate. But it's a cheap book, which means you can get 2 or 3 then. We shall endeavour, Paul, to do a better copy of the book. Already taking pics for you. Crafty was using the same book last week, books I own. There you go. It's just easy to write name at book. But I appreciate it, mate. Nice one. Right. Gaz Jones. This is getting well complicated. You're getting a lot of Gazers in here now. This is cool. I thought we were a dying breed. If I have a heater on my filter setup, can I switch it off through the winter without changing any pipework? Yes, you should be able to, depending on the type of heater. If it's one of those inline ones, then it's only going to be running through and the water will just be passing through, same as it would do. It shouldn't really make any difference, mate.
Yeah, it depends on how you set up, doesn't it? You don't want to leave an air source heat pump, not put water for it to freeze up. So you've got to be careful with trouble. Freeze that it's got water moving or it's drained. Same as a UV or anything else, isn't it?
Yeah. Make sure that you don't get it cracking or bursting pipes anywhere when it's not running through or flowing through. But it depends on what type of heater you've got, Gaz. If you can let us know, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Quite like the fact he's got a heater on in the summer for growing them rather than most of them on in the winter just to gain a degree or two.
More cost effective.
There we go. Them's the ones are a nice one. We'll just quickly go back to this because this is 2 of the books that Crafty were using the other week. So you've got Go Sankey varieties, Koi 1 and then Koi 2. Karawashi varieties.
There was someone selling 1 and 2 on what's Telegram? Vince's Telegram, the sales one for fish Telegram group. They were selling 1 and 2. I think it was £100 for the pair of them.
Yeah, they're a good book though, from what Aaron's told me and what Crafty's. I've seen Crafty using that and going and referring back to that book quite a few times. So
yeah,
there's a couple for you, mate. I'm sure there's many a person. I tell you, somebody, if you can get hold of him, if you are part of the Facebook group, as in my Facebook group, there's Dave Broscombe. If you contact Dave Broscombe, send him a private message, mate. That gentleman has got hundreds of books, and he will tell you the best one out there for sure. He will give you an in-depth. No, he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to books and all about koi. It's one of his hobbies and pastimes, collecting them and reading them. So he will definitely tell you the best book out there, 100%.
Yeah. Is he not watching now?
I'm not 100% sure if he's out of hospital yet, but I know he is still on Facebook, and he's been in to have his leg amputated from below the knee, which may have turned to above the knee. So I don't know if he's actually out yet. But all the best, Dave, if you're still in speedy recovery, bud. I hope everything comes well. Right, let's close that one. Cheers, Aaron. Appreciate it, mate. Close that one. Right, so let us know, Gaz, which type of heater you've got. Claude's asking a question: how long for PP that turned brown to go clear without adding hydrogen peroxide? Mate, I waited 2 days and it didn't go clear, so I added hydrogen peroxide. I'm not 100% sure if it does. I'm not saying it doesn't, but
it normally does. But yeah, if you've got a clean system, it will stay coloured for longer. So yeah, it depends on the organic load, and if you've got quite a dirty setup like most of ours, it will go purple for a matter of hours, brown for probably 4 times the length it was purple for. So if you turn it purple for 4 hours, you probably got 12, 16 hours of it being brown, and it will go crystal clear. But obviously,
mine never did. Well, I'm saying no, the water went clear, but I still had like a brown scummy ring around the top of the pond.
Yeah, all on the liner, on the plants and everything. It looked horrible.
Yeah, but that's just sort of the detritus.
That's just a crud, isn't it? Afterwards,
yeah. I did a full water change to get rid of it. It looked awful.
I just wanted it clean, and I don't mean the sauce. So most people there, look, Paul says, always turn it off. DT says turn it off. Up not Koi Ponds makes a good comment there, though. The treatments are way too expensive enough as it is. Why risk degrading the chemical by leaving it on? May as well turn it off to reduce the risk. Valid point, mate. I'll still leave mine on, though. I will, because I'm stupid and I always forget every time. I know I do. Every time I go that crap. And then I'll notice my water's going green and I think, shite, you never turn it back on again.
Well, I used to have the UV wired into the same plug as the pump, so I couldn't switch it off without unwiring it. But that's why I've got rid of my UVs as well.
I'm guessing maybe this is, I don't know if I should say you're welcome or I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Gaz, thanks for Tuesday auction because of your big gob. My wife's not talking to me. I don't know how to thank you. There's me thinking you were locked in your padded cell, mate. Colin's question. When you were buying a koi from a dealer at, say, Caver, over 300 quid, should you look for a breeder's cert or take that dealer's word for the authentication of the koi?
A breeder's cert just blows my mind a lot of the time. A lot of them send out blank certs. It's just nonsense. So you can put your own photos in. Yes, certain patterns for certain fish you can. But at the end of the day, if you're spending over 300 quid on a koi, you should just be able to look at the koi and think, is it worth 300 quid?
Yeah.
Whether it's from A, B, or C, doesn't really matter, does it? And at the end of the day, breeder cert, a Dainichi fish will go wrong, as any other fish will go wrong. If it's 300 quid and the Benny's starting to fail, it doesn't matter if it's got a cert or not. The Benny's going to fall off.
Yeah, because it's still failing.
It's just, it's nice if you're spending decent money on a fish to know the parents, to know the blood. If you're into the bloodline and everything else, other than that, some of it is, So
bragging rights.
100 certificates or 100 Matsubas, but then those certificates mean nothing. It's just, one of those things. So if you're buying a particular fish, you're interested in bloodlines, the parents, then yes. But normally you're talking about fish that are way over 300 quid to be getting that involved with. But
to
realistically,
make it, yeah. I mean, if you're getting a set for a fish at 300 quid, it isn't a very expensive fish, is it? Unless that's a very small torsai that you're getting inserted. But
Yeah.
it's nice. It's one of those things.
With that fish over that time of its growth, what would
It
the state
becomes
actually
quite
mean?
mental with certain stuff, you know, and it is nice to know. Like I say, if you're buying a fish from Omasako, so you want to know the parents, you got the farm, the parents, and you're into that, superb. It gives you a bit more information, you know. But when breeders send out shed loads of certificates that are blank to put, it's just madness. It's just another way of a dealer to add to a fish. All what comes as a certificate is 100 quid more.
Talking of which, does anybody want a Dainichi certificate for a Bendigo? You put your own on it.
It is nice. It's one of those things that, yes, if you're truly interested, rather than it's not just bragging to your mates, I've got a Dainichi or a Sakai, you've got these certificates. If you're interested in not just the farm, but the parent fish, the lineage, what you're buying, then fair play. But a lot of it is just another sort of gimmick in it.
It's another sales pitch, and I know. I would imagine there is a lot of people that do have them and think, right, well, that fish, if I were going to use it for brood stock or whatever, that would be some really useful information, wouldn't it? You'd be able to know what you were putting into what you were going with what. Could see it that way, but especially if you were showing as well, maybe, and you wanted to say exactly where it's come from, what you've got, and
But it's gone a bit. It used to be done for specifically high level fish that could be recognised. You know, you go Sankey stuff, certain parents. So it gives it that kudos or whatever. That is, it's worth. You're spending $2,500 on a little fish, but you can see the parents. You know that it's kind of worth it, and then it just spiraled into boxes of fish coming in with certificates that. You know, if you're looking at a fish, you've got to judge yourself realistically. If you know the true age of the fish, how it's been raised, that's where a koi keeper's eye should be coming in. It's nice to know some information, but if your dealer's talking absolute nonsense, it's bizarre. I mean, we had a guy the other day get hold of us and say, he dug a brand new mud pond and put, I think it was 30 tozai in there, and then like 12 weeks later, it's got thousands of little baby koi in there. And he's like, well, how can that be possible? And I said, well, they obviously weren't tozai. You know, those fish, some of those fish were obviously older and of a breedable size and age. You know, they don't have to be big to breed. They just have to, you know, you could have, and that's where the whole thing. So he's putting these fish in thinking they're less than a year old, whatever. And they've gone in there and spawned. And now they've got a whole mud pond for 30 fish specifically to do a thing. And he's now got thousands of mixed breed crud. And he's like, well, he's never going to get them back out. He's never going to get the situation he sort of wanted. And it might, it's just one of those things. You don't, the dealer only knows the truth of what he's been told from the farm or his dealer or wherever.
And that's open. That's wide open, isn't it? Because some start it from when the fish hatch from the egg, and some start it like a year later. The counting the date, don't they? So
well, basically, a fish is hatched on the day, and up to a year old, or in its first year, is tozai. It's just an age. Yeah, those fish then get shipped and sold, and they're brought as tozai when they're 12 months old, quarantined and held at dealers and sold. By which time they're a lot older than that. They're Nisai really, but obviously, and it gets even more confusing when some of the farms in Japan hold fish back. So they'll sell fish that are been overwintered and are actually older than they're being sold as, just because either they've got them held back or they don't tell them the age. These little 4 to 5 inch fish, they've had thousands of them. And they've held them over for a year. Yeah. You know, it's just part and parcel, and that's where things can get a little bit murky, and that's where the certificates play their part. If you've got a farm saying this fish was bred on the 19th of August, 2023, and is now 45 centimeters old, at 12 months old, whatever, you know that they're generally telling the truth. That is the story.
But what's to play the devil's advocate a little bit? What's to say that as size here, certs can be helpful knowing that you are buying a koi that is the age it actually is, and not some 40 cm 5-year-old koi.
Exactly.
How do you know?
Well,
how do you know they've not just turned around and said, this fish looks like a banger, but it's never grown. We've kept it back for 3 years, and we're going to sell it as a jumbo toy side.
Yeah, I think they are pretty much on when they're doing individual fish. They're pretty much on the money. Their reputation is on it, but it's when you get boxes of certificates
and boxes
blank for batches of fish, and they do it because of the fish. You can't do it for a bunch of Matsubas or whatever, but they still do it, or Krashigoi or Benigoi or whatever. Those individual fish, who knows what's what? That's where it gets a bit murky. And obviously, when you say console and fishing, you might buy them hand on heart, believing you're buying 1,000 Toai from Aoki, and he ships a load of Chibi Nisai over to you. You don't know any different. He perhaps doesn't know he's selling them. He's just selling this size fish. You're buying them thinking they're one thing. He's selling them as another. This is when things can all get a bit murky.
Yeah. Colin's put the same thing out. So let's put it another way then. How do we know we're actually buying a koi from a certain breeder then? Well, really,
you got to trust. That's the thing. You got to trust.
It's trust element, isn't it? You got to trust your dealers that are importing them and bringing them in, that they've been out there and selected those fish, and they are what they selected when they come through door.
I don't think the farms generally lie about anything, but
not
a few times it can get either confusing, or it's easier not to if someone comes in and goes, "Are they Toai?" You don't necessarily correct them if they're, "Oh yeah, whatever." Just carry on. We'll have fish. We'll have tanks of fish where there's big fish from one year class and small fish from another year class together, and there'll come a point where I don't even know to a point there could be a whole. Some of them are going to grow like crazy. Some of them are the slowest growing from a year class, or whatever. But they ended up going into a vat together. Okay, they're only probably 40, 50 quid fish or whatever, so it's not generally of a major concern. But someone says, how old are they? I'd have to say, well, some are 12 months and some are 24 months. I'm not sure which are which anymore. Some are and some aren't.
But it doesn't necessarily mean just because the biggest one in there is going to be the 2-year-old, does it? Because sometimes you get some fish that grow like things and just shoot like mad and end up bigger than the 2-year-olds anyway at Toai.
It's not even shooting like mad. It's different environments. So I put my best 10, 12 show and grow fry from this year. They've gone in with Vince and Dave's pond because I needed the pond space with their fish that are a year older. They're all exactly the same size. It's only because I've taken photographs and we'll be able to split them. So they're a whole year. Yeah, well, they're 18 weeks against a year and 18 weeks. The age is.
And they're exactly the same size as the year 18.
You wouldn't know the difference. So I'm going to have to take them back out by the original photographs as who's who to see the difference. And that's just one batch of fish that have been given optimal environment, another batch of fish that have been held back because they're, in a heavily stocked pond in a colder environment, whatever. They just become merged together. And I'll see that happens on farms. If they don't sell all their fish and they hold some back in a concrete pond or whatever, they'll have, you end up with fish and they look better sometimes. You might have if you've got 10,000 little fish on your farm and they don't look particularly good, but you just leave them in that tank for the year and the colours come up amazing, you'll get more money for them. So
is that where the terms like these, like Chibi Nisai is coming from? It's still
a lot of small pretty ones or whatever. So you end
small pretty ones that they've held back and not pushed, and then they're coming out for following year being as the Chibi Nisai.
Yeah, but some of them, given the right environment, will then grow on again rapid. Some won't. So if you're going to spend a lot of money on a fish that you want to grow massive, ideally you need it to be big at every stage of its life where it should be. If it's been at 27 degrees for 12 months, it should be 45 cm or whatever. If it's not, it ain't growing perhaps as it should be. And that's where you buy, if you've got farms got 100 of them available and they range from 30 to 45, then generally the biggest ones are the ones that are going to make the bigger fish if they got the right structure and whatever.
And those ones that are just stopped at extra 15 cm smaller than the others are probably going to be the ones that'll be the slower growers and only get to like the 60s to 70s.
50, 60. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you just even it doesn't matter how big a parent fish is. The offspring don't grow to that size. A small percentage can, but the vast majority won't. But if you breed small fish that can't grow, none of them will. That's where it sort of comes from. It's not like, oh, they're bred from jumbo broodstock, they'll all be jumbo. They won't.
What about that then? Because I noticed this time when you did, I know this is detracting a little bit, and I'll come back to the questions. This time that you use a couple of smaller males, young males that were Toai spawning with. How can that affect being from a smaller fish, or were you just literally going from bloodline?
It's just purely from the genetics of the fish. So the Dragon Ball Sankey male was a particularly, I say, small fish. I don't know what it is now, probably 45 centimetre, 18 months old or whatever. So it's not a small fish. Its sister sibling is 50, quite a bit bigger. But genetically, they're from good stock. They're good structure for their ages, respectively. They've been grown differently at a point. So, some have been pushed and the males weren't. So it's not, and we're not selling them as, when they come to market, I'm not going to sell them as from jumbo parents. Some of that bloodline might, potentially won't. A lot of the parents we buy, jumbo's it's a small part of the package, and there's not a lot of point buying jumbo stuff if you haven't got a heated pond that you can grow them jumbo. Then they're never going to go jumbo anyway. It might grow slightly faster than other fish, but it's all about the right fish for the right market for the right price is what you're trying to do. So I could only get hold of those Dragon Ball Sankeys at certain ages and certain sizes. So got the best I could, and we'll see what goes from there.
Yeah,
they may never get used again. I don't know. Let's see what the offspring are like. But yeah.
There's a few bits there where people have been. The problem is you're buying from a dealer that's been to the farm. Then you can trust that they're where they got them from. But when you're buying from a UK from an agent, then you have to trust the dealer and their agent.
Potentially, I don't think where they're sourced from is generally the issue.
Yeah, I think I know we've been to some places, me and Daz, and we've walked in there and we've looked and they've turned around and they've got Japanese koi mixed with Israeli, and you're like, there's some of them in there that are Israeli. Yeah. Well, how do you know? That's what he said to us, didn't he, Daz? How do you know? I said, well, that one, and that one is Israeli, and those others there are Japanese. Yeah, there is a few there mixed in. But if we hadn't have asked that question, we could have been sold those fish as being
Japanese.
It didn't say one or the other. Let's put it that way.
But that's going to a point of just Japanese versus, we sell tens of thousands of fish and they don't all get sold as English. So that comes down to a dealer's integrity or how they want to sell the fish. You also get people that will breed from fish from a farm and sell them as fish. So if we breed from a pair of Dainichi fish, we sell the offspring as our own bred English fish from Dainichi parents, but they're ours. But other people will sell them as Dainichi fish. That's another. It's a sort of grey area. Where do you go?
Yeah,
you get some but they can't be all koi Japanese. Well, technically, they might have originated in Japan, but the ones we breed are bred here. Yeah. So it's just if you trust who you're dealing with, then generally they're not going to lie. And to be honest, you've seen enough koi now. You can walk it. I can walk in and see a vat of fish and know generally they're from one or two particular breeders in Japan. You can just see they're this, and they're that, they're the other. So yeah, you'll soon get sort of caught out.
Yeah, there's lots of different breeders have got different traits with the Toai. That's sure, don't they? I mean, I might not be able to identify that as clearly as others can, but I know people that can do by looking at them. And you like some Alan Tate can look at a fish and know exactly where it's come from just from a glance.
Pretty much, yeah. So sure, it's cool. There's 3 or 4 breeders that actually produce good numbers of Shiros.
As Colin says there, I'm just throwing it out there, guys. I've been doing this a long time, and I always use the same dealer, so I'm happy it could, but it would be open to interpretations.
It 100% can be. And at the end of the day, you've got to trust who you're dealing with to be in the hobby or whatever.
Matt says, you don't know, I have 100 plus of various breeders' certs, and I never sell any koi with certs unless they come from a breeder with them. But then again, how do we know the fish isn't Nisai when Tosai? Well, really, we don't. And this has been the thing when it's been said before, though, hasn't it? Where how you've mentioned about Tosai, and they've been, way over 12 months, but they've not come to the Nisai age. It all depends on when they're spawned and all the rest of it, doesn't it, as to how they've done it and how they degrade it and how they class them.
Actually, yeah, there is, yeah. No, I've brought Tosai that have come in with eggs and milk, and it's like they ain't Tosai. You can just look at them. So they're just very small Nisai, proper Nisai. Actually, probably going in technically Sansai. Yeah. And that's where it gets a bit naughty. But then that's the risk you take sometimes. It's not big money fish. If it was, it would be an issue. But so it's just one of those things. You can. At this point in time, they'll be starting to harvest fish in Japan. They're Nisai now, but those same fish are being sold in this country as Tosai. Yeah, you're right in that area. It's a jumbo Tosai at 35 cm, but that same fish in Japan is now being harvested at 45 centimeter as whatever. It's just if you put. I think it'd be a lot easier if you just went. They were born in 2003.
Yeah. It would for sure, wouldn't it?
It's just
then exact, don't you?
So it's that age. It was brought as Tosai. It's now turning into a young Nisai. It's been at dealers. It's done whatever. That's a good size fish for it. That's not a problem. It's not been out in a mud pond this summer. It's been quarantined and sat in the dealers. It's not going to be the same size as a fish out in Japan. If you look at Yumekoi's fish out in a mud pond or whatever, so they're going out as proper jumbo Tosai. So before they're 12 months old, they're going out to the mud pond at 40 centimeters, and they'll be coming back at 60 centimeters. Which is, but you've got to pay for that privilege. Those fish aren't cheap. They're not cheap to have brought in the first place. For him, they're not cheap to have raised. The risk you take, but that is if you're going to grow a fish to 90 cm, technically you want to be shipping it in the autumn at say 50 centimeters as a proper Nisai, but it would still be Nisai for quite a while yet. You could carry on growing that fish until it is proper 24 months old as Nisai. It's just that grey area, and it's just if you were buying from Japan,
to interpretation
from a dealer, it's not so much interpretation. When those fish were harvested and shipped and quarantined and been at dealers, is different to a fish that's just coming out of a mud pond in Japan that's now been growing flat out all summer.
Yeah. But Budget Pond Keeper says if you call a business starting with the word Japanese, it's very misleading.
Yes.
George says there quickly, Rick, thank you that you put on your website today. Wow.
Yeah, it shouldn't have gone on the website, to be fair. It's supposed to go in a vat for another day, but that doesn't matter. It's been available for whatever. It hasn't been dear. So
DT says maybe we should do it as a British thing, born this day and stand out from the rest of the koi world. Just jumping on your idea, Rick.
It's not mine. To be fair, the breeders, the certificated good stuff is literally these parents spawned on this date in this year, and it's this big. So there's no fannying about. It is what it says on the tin, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's just Colin. Everyone's now googling New Forest koi. Let's have a look at the Zanka.
I don't know if it's even gone on the website, to be honest. You got me thinking now. Cole put it on Facebook. Yeah, it must be because Cole put it on Facebook. That's probably going to be gone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be sold. That's not a bad thing, though, mate. Unless you already.
Well, no, it's not. It's there, isn't it?
Sell them all.
Sell them all. We got lots coming out soon. We've got a busy day lined up for you on that Friday. Bright and early, boys.
Yeah, definitely, mate. What time are we actually? What time are we? We're bright and early. It's Friday morning. Be there Friday evening.
Yeah, no, you want to be there Friday as early as you can on a Friday.
Oh shit! That means I need to book a day then. Remind me, Daz. I need to book a day.
I shall remind you.
Not the Friday on Ed. Right. So last week we had a topic, and we talked about shows and show events and all the rest of it. And there were a couple of people, well, mainly one, that thought that most of what we were doing and what we were saying had a negative vibe to it. And in all honesty, there was criticism, but constructive. And at no point or at no time do I personally think that it went the wrong way. And it was more of a conversation where two people that are, leading within the industry had an opinion, and they put forward some suggestions. And on the back of which I've had some conversations with the BKKS. I'd just like to nip it in the bud with those that thought that we came across negative. There might have been a few things that they didn't agree with, but there were obviously things that they've acted upon and things that they've done with. And also, there's things to come in the very near future, which will show that that's not what they felt. I just wanted to get that out there, that there's no malice, and there was no malice or any ill will or intent from the GKP, me, Crafty, or Ryan. It was a discussion about things where we thought we was pushing ideas and suggestions forward where things could improve. And I think if we can get more people involved and we can get the younger generation involved, then we can move those constructive criticisms forward and bring them to fruition, that would be a good thing and not seen as a bad thing. And I will be having in-depth conversations this weekend with the BKKS to talk about exactly that.
But how does anything improve? Like anything you do, be it producing fish, a show, whatever you do in life, you do it, and you get feedback.
Exactly.
People
and
come
that's where
I wish this was that, and someone else was that, and whatever, and that's how things grow. And the BK
exactly, that's how things improve, don't they? That's how, if you don't take, whether it be negative criticism or positive, if you don't take it on board for what people want, then you're just putting on an event for yourselves. And at the end of the day, it's about what the people want to see. And although there may be
democracy,
they are people.
Differences,
people yeah.
But
isn't it called constructive criticism? That's it, mate. Exactly that.
I'd have to say that's the best. The BKKS is the best I've ever seen it. Yeah. Numbers of people, set up, everything. It was just.
Yeah. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was brilliant. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this weekend, which we will be there from Friday, stopping over Friday night and Saturday, and we'll be there Sunday. Obviously, you guys won't see us there on Friday, but we will be there, and we'll be hopefully getting hands on, getting involved, and having a chat and having a natter, and doing a good old bit of
secret film.
Getting involved, secret handshakes and stuff. Yeah. we're going down.
Where it's going, though, isn't it? You can't. Social media is mental, isn't it? So be it YouTube, Facebook, whatever. That's where people interact, say what they got to say. That's where you build relationships and just go forward with everything. I don't really, there will be negative stuff, but if that can be turned on its head or whatever to stop that. But you will also get,
All that fault, ladies and gents. He shall be right back. But that's what I'm looking forward to this weekend. This is going to be brilliant. It should be a fantastic event. Again, if it betters last year and the year before, then that can only be a good thing. And if people go there and enjoy it, then that's only a bonus, isn't it? But it was nice to chat with the chairman, and we will be in talks and in chats this weekend, and hopefully we should all have a brilliant weekend and then enjoy all the show for what it is. And what I will say right now is, because I know how much it's been, and I know how difficult it's been for those guys that have done the volunteering and gone down there to put all this event on for everybody. Well, yeah, a little bit of a round of applause to them guys, because at the end of the day, they get 5 days to put up this whole event and get it all set up. And then they get 14 and a half hours to get it all dismantled and out of there. And that in itself, for volunteers to do, which does, I'm sorry, mate, but I have volunteered us for next year, so that we might be going down to have a blast and get involved. I don't know if we'll go down for the full 5 days, but we'll certainly go down and give them an hand and try getting involved in doing it. Because at the end of the day, I would like to see a bit more of it.
Yeah.
And have a bit more involvement with it. So I volunteered us, mate. Sorry. Maybe I should have asked.
It's all right. You don't have to ask me, guys, anything like that. Just put, I'm for it.
All done. I bet it will be brilliant for you guys. It's not so much. It's not so much for me, mate. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the channel, for people to watch and see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it comes across good and it shows it for what it is, which is exactly what I'm hoping and intending to do. It gives the BKKS the chance and the opportunity to show what's going on. And hopefully the likes of Paul, Mac, and the rest of the committee can sit there and put their point across and show just what they get involved in and what they do. And that's the idea of it.
Because we don't realise half and a quarter of what goes on.
I mean, we go down there and go, wow, look at all them fish in there. Wow, and have a wander around, and then we pop outside and we have a coffee and a natter and a chat. We come back in and have a talk around. You don't see all what's going on. And I know lots of people have shown little snippets and bits and bats here, there and everywhere. But it'd be nice to sit down with those people that are involved and get a little bit of a topic and a conversation going with them and seeing if any of them want to put the point across. So at the end of the day, an injection of some youth and an injection of enthusiasm, not saying that nobody is, but if we go down, I'll be buzzing to be a part of doing all that thing and I'll be getting involved in it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, next year we might be there too, to actually be a part of it.
I think it's a big part of the show is obviously the setup. It's a massive setup.
It is a massive setup, mate. Yeah.
Massive operation, but then it's a takedown. Everyone sort of just buggers off, and then the same the same 6 people have to dismantle and clean down and do
everything. Yeah, and there's a hell of from the conversations which we will we'll go into later on, but there's a lot to it, man. A lot more than what you think.
Oh yeah, just cleaning all the tanks out for a start and sterilising them.
For example, let's give you an example of like was it Coventry we went last time?
Yeah.
Coventry outside event, all their vats, pull a plug, bush, water out. This one, it's all indoors. Every single vat's got to be pumped out. Yes, I know it's possible and it's doable, but that's got to be pumped in, pumped out, exchange water, flushing through it constantly. There's a hell of a lot to it. It's a big task, and all I can say is thank you very much to all those that do and have volunteered in the past for doing so, because at the end of the day, it's one hell of an achievement. And I have enjoyed every single show I've been to, and each one has just got better and better and better. So hats off to you all guys that do it.
Yeah. But imagine setting up a show and then no one comes. Even worse, wouldn't it? Literally, you need not only do you need the fish bins.
Why would you even think that?
But that's the thing, isn't it? So if you're not putting on stuff to engage with people and everything else, then you're not going to get the pit fall through the doors and whatever. You get the few hardcore, but you just want to encourage shed loads, don't you? The more people you get through, the better. And even if they're not hardcore koi keepers or they've not even got a pond, they're just thinking about it.
Yeah, sets the seed, isn't it?
Yeah, like Lisa says there, it's the bit people don't see when setting up these shows. Lots of work. Ours is small, but still takes a week to set up. Exactly, and that in the grand scheme of things, the big shows that they put on. I mean, imagine how long it must take to sort out some of these massive ones, like one over in is it Belgium? Belgium show?
Yeah.
I mean, Belgium, that's huge, isn't it, that one?
Or Holland. Yeah. I was looking at that last night, funnily enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's big. But yeah, anyway. So that's, and Lorraine says there, stop rubbing it in. I'm not rubbing it in. Just make sure you get a load of toys. I will try get as much as I possibly am allowed to, but it will all be, hopefully, we've granted permission. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Yes.
Do they use new pipework every time, or is it stored? I don't know, mate. I mean, would they have to use new pipework? Would they want to run the risk of it when it's been running? I don't know. Or do they bleach it all out, decontaminate it all down, or what? I don't know.
We should find out.
Yeah, we will. We'll get to find out. Yeah,
it's got to be stored. There's no way they're buying all at the National the 4-inch pipework and everything. You're not buying that new every time. It's just not. But that's all.
Push through Humber waste pipes. Not bothered with. Well, if it's going to waste, it's always going to waste, so it's never going back into water, is it anyway? So yeah, that would make sense. But the other pipework, I would imagine it'd be a lot of expense to just throw away when all it needs is. Think of all that pipe that you could get your hands on, Rick. Vince would have a field day, wouldn't it?
Take all the vats away, and 100.
You'd have aquaponic systems running everywhere. Right then, now that you've heard me be positive. Well, now we're going to go to a little bit of what somebody has left as a comment, and I'm going to read it out because I believe that, end of the day, this is a platform. This is your platform, a platform for the public to come and ask what we talk about, what we discuss, and to put your points across and have your opinions on, and that's what it's all about. So I'm going to go to the community post, and I'm going to read the community post which was left. He says,
It's gone. Been deleted.
And it has. He's gone.
Well, that solved that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, koi shows that they're not my greatest thing in the world, but I think they're an important thing for the industry. They're an important thing for the hobby.
Well, they are. They're a showcase for the hobby, aren't they?
They're a showcase, yeah, sort of for the top end of the hobby.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of a show.
No, not necessarily the top end of the hobby. I mean, lots of dealers selling cheaper toe sides, such.
Yeah, but that's a dealer's thing. I'm talking about the show.
Yeah, yeah, but I tend to in my head I can combine the two.
Yeah, but that's again.
There's no escaping the GKP. I've found it. Tina Williams. I used to show my koi, and the judging standards are the same now as they were 20 years ago. A comment which was made last week. I got so fed up with seeing the same fish winning, I stopped showing and left the BKKS. This year was the first year I have gone back. The National was amazed. I've gone back to the National and was amazed to see all the same judges there, just looking older. Unbelievable. I agree with Ryan and Crafter. The whole system needs to change. Bring in Japanese judges. So there's somebody that used to show, hasn't done for some time, come back to it, still seeing the same judges and the same people, but believes that there is room for it to change.
Yeah, but seriously, is there enough money in it to fly Japanese judges over just to judge a show?
This is a thing. Ryan was saying last week that he's got Japanese judges asking to do so.
Crikey, I'm surprised at that. I really am.
And he said, if given the nod, he could have got them here for it. So, yes, there is. And, well, is there enough money in the show side of it for the people that are putting on these shows and events? I don't know. But if a dealer was prepared to do a little bit of a sponsorship and bring them over, and he's willing and prepared to pay that, then why the hell not?
He's brought people across repeatedly.
Yeah.
So they have, but at the end of the day, You can't just bring in Japanese judges to judge.
Well, this is it.
English. This is the difference. They're judged. Tina might be saying that the same fish win, but the fish that won the national was the best. There isn't a different judge going to choose a different fish. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. The result will probably be the same.
That's it. You might get some differences in certain aspects of judging in terms of how they're appreciated in a package as opposed to individual elements. But to train as a judge is quite a thing. It's quite a lot of work.
Surely, I mean, our English scene is just that. It's English. It's not Japanese. So,
yeah. No, I think at the end of the day, if you were to bring across one Japanese, judge to have their opinion, but it's obviously the language barrier is a nightmare. You've got to have someone coming over that's got good enough English to be able to get the communication across, but to look at stuff and maybe choose certain fish in their way or whatever. But the criteria for judging fish, yes, it hasn't changed much, but reality is.
But I believe it's
criteria, isn't it?
The fish have changed, though, aren't they? If you look at what a fish was like 20 years ago to what they're like now, the standard of fish is nowhere near what it was.
And the judges will learn every year, and they go different places and learn. I don't believe that the judging's the same. They can only judge what's in front of them by the criteria they got and how the fish looked on the day.
Yeah.
And yes, you might have some of the same fish winning repeatedly, but that's because they're the best fish in that class, size, type, whatever. I think the difference is
if the fish is fit for winning, Rick, it's fit for winning. If it is the best, and if it is grand champion, or if it is, whatever, then it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, that's what the judges.
Yeah, I just think there's a certain element of perhaps more artistic judging in Japan when you look at, rather than a rigid set of rules, you look at something a bit more fluid as a package, and it might not fit into some of the things you might look at off the box as this and this. You might look at it, actually it just works, and that just works. That fish is immense in lots of the quality. All the qualities are there, but we might mark something down for the line of scalation through the back or whatever, but they might ignore that because the qualities of the skin and the way the pattern flows is just better, as almost like a work of art compared to text.
To a standard as such.
The rally is I didn't see much go to the wrong fish. You're always going to have discussions in certain categories with certain fish, and the problem is putting fish together. In English shows, they're all separate. A judge has got to walk 100 meters from one vat, walk back 100 meters, and they're trying to keep a picture in the head of a fish. In Japan, it's literally just stick them all in a vat together, so you see them together. Yeah. And at that point, it's like, well, it's a lot easier to see differences in body structure, volume, skin quality, because they're side by side. It's
Daz, just rip it open, man. Stop trying to do it like that. That was a prolonged wrinkle as opposed to that's on the line gums. Collins put there, do most people go for the koi or the koi's on sale? And to be fair,
both for me.
I mean, which do we normally do first, Daz? When we've gone there, we normally have a walk around the sales.
We normally look at the vats first, and then have a look at the sales area, and have another look at the vats.
Yeah, after we do. I think we've only ever walked up just once straight into a sales area, and that was just to say hello to the people that were in there, wasn't it? And we didn't really have so much of a nosy round at what they got for sale. It was just.
And that's just something just specific that you want, like you wanted a bowl one.
Yeah, I wanted the koi bowl when I went over the week, and I literally went for the beeline straight for it. Because every time I haven't
wanted Tamasaba.
Yeah. Every time we haven't done, we've missed them, haven't we? We've missed out. So, Colin, actually, when you say that, right, I've been to a few shows where we've got there, and when we've pulled up, and we've only been like 10 minutes after it's the starting time, and there's been people walking out with boxes, bowls, and bags, and all sorts, and you think, God damn, these guys are getting off. They're in. They've got what they wanted. They're gone. So I reckon probably maybe a bit of 50-50, Colin.
There's a difference. Yeah. You go to Coventry and you can go and see fish from Toai Water Barn, and if you live in Newcastle, or wherever, you can see it's a showcase for those dealers. I look at it perhaps differently. I go to see the fish on display, but also look at all the dealers just because it's interesting to see what they got, what sort of prices, what sort of, all the different aspects of how they're kept prepared. It's just the whole thing, isn't it? But yeah, you should go. A koi show without dealers is not going to attract as many people. So the dealers.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it would get a tenth of the foot traffic without the dealers.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are coming down there to see the fish and to get a bargain out there, and to see what they can get. I think the sales side of things is a big element to it.
Yeah.
Good evening, mate.
Crafty.
Good evening.
So there's music like,
Yeah, like you're going in. He's got some tunes back in.
I have got them in my earphones. I ain't really.
Have you been out for your evening run?
I've just had a big fat meal, man. It was lovely. Sunday roast on a Thursday.
Is that because you won't be having a Sunday roast on Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be eating burgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
No dealers ever come to Scottish koi shows. I bet there is, mate. You just don't know the dealers. You got to meet them in the right place. Sorry, just
I'll be there next year.
Any dealers in the north of England or in Scotland should be the ones supporting that show. For me to go up to the Scottish show would be insane, wouldn't it? I don't know. I can't make it to any show.
You'd have thought so, yeah. Jigs has just said it's like being in the cinemas and Daz opening them. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, wow. Shut up, man.
Why do you make bags so rustly, though?
Well, they're not, man. You just
silent.
You're trying to buy the microphone, mate. You're like that. Trying to do it quietly.
You're trying to do it off camera at shot that nobody can see.
I think the volume's what you hear, not what we hear.
Ah.
Yes. But yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, it's...
I shall mute myself. I'll have a rustle.
I think, to be fair, though, that's where the internet's come in massively, isn't it? So if you do live in Scotland and you keep koi, you can buy them. You can spend time on the internet, go to lots of dealers and see the stuff they got. Look at all the reviews from all the different people. And actually, it's not ideal buying your fish mail order. But some people, that's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah.
Unless you live in a postcode you can't get shipped to, in which case...
You're screwed anyway, aren't you?
It's a bit of a pain. Yeah.
What have I missed?
Everything.
Oh, loads.
Not really. No, well, yeah, everything, loads, mate.
We're just about finished now, Crafty.
Yeah, to be fair.
Have you been enjoying this kind of
I'll see you at the weekend then.
Oh, lights, camera.
Action.
We were just talking about how some people, i.e. Philip King, was a little upset with what he thought came across as negative, when it's been quite the reverse, mate, and it's had a positive outcome, because it's got me in talks and people in talks and everybody else doing things and making difference and making changes, mate. So unfortunately, as much as I hate to say I have to disagree with you, only positives have come from it at present. So, but it was a touching on there where somebody's just made a comment where went to the last show and haven't been showed for 20 years, haven't been for a long time, left the BKK, has come back, first time they come back, seen same judges, same things, and they do believe it's time for change, and they should be bringing in Japanese judges, which was one topic which you brought up and Ryan brought up last week, which I think it would make it more interesting. I mean, not having it all judged by Japanese, but having a difference of an opinion is what makes the world a better place, isn't it? If we were all the same and we all thought the same, it'd be shit, grey and boring.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's when you get the discussion of judges over a fish, and you can have 10 Japanese judges, all Japan. They don't all agree on the same bloody fish. There's
Exactly. Yeah.
differences. So
Yeah.
they've got enough top quality fish there to go and have different preps. So they have to do votes and then vote and then and they keep going through. So it's one of those things you can't just turn around. Okay, at the national, it probably was cut and dry. There's the best fish done. It's one of those grand champion. But if you've got 10 fish of a similar size, similar skin quality, similar, and you're judging on aspects of pattern and how the fish looks, that's different. That's when it gets a bit more complicated, isn't it? Because if I was judging fish, I look at them completely different to say Crafty would, or to say someone that.
Well, we do, don't we? We've done it ourselves, haven't we?
Different. So, yeah, you can have judging standards, but there's also got to be that appreciation of art as a judge. They are kind of, and that's just. Yeah.
Well, it is. We all look at them and think, to each and every one of us, we've all got fish where we think, wow, that's beautiful, and that's why we buy them.
Yeah.
So
like we prefer Deutz.
Even an individual judge or judges have got to look at something and think, wow, that to me is the best one because it ticks all these boxes which it needs to do. Well, see, it does. Yeah, somebody just robbed his power cable or his midget gems and his bags.
Do with me. It's your internet.
Oh, that's not my internet. You're connected to this. I've just provided a platform.
Your platform's rickety then.
If every judge in this country, in the English scene, is trained by judges in this country, that you will start going down a road. You're not going to get away. They've got criteria that they're following, but you can't disagree with certain aspects of stuff. But yeah, you might have a different way of judging in Japan. So what?
Surely that's a good thing. I mean,
they can send
like a dialect, isn't it? It makes us individual.
Well, it is. But
we shouldn't be following the Japanese like sheep. We should be doing our own version of it, surely.
Well, you do, but the whole having fish separate was an English thing that's travelling back to Japan. So there's certain aspects that we do that have gone the other way. Makes sense. That's from a health side of things that they never even used to have an issue with.
Would you not think, Daz, when you say that we should be doing his own thing, when we've taken something which is a country's pastime, hobby, passion?
Yeah.
Do you not think we should be trying to,
regardless of where it originates from,
follow their example?
You should,
rather than going, do you know what? We're just goddamn British. We're going to do it this way.
I absolutely don't. No. I mean, I think you can apply that to horses, dog breeding, anything. It's immaterial where it originates from. It's all about putting our slant on it, making it individual. Well, to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm asking a question, which is, it's nice to get your opinion on something and get it aired, where we air our own opinions every night a week and all day, every day, me and you. Yeah. And it's nice to hear you have what you think is.
I don't think, personally, I think having a Japanese judge or a set of judges come to the UK is, like what Ryan said, it's sort of like an attraction,
a novelty,
hobbyists to come across. If we had nothing but Japanese people judge our VATs, my question is, would the exhibitors just accept their decision?
No.
And my answer to that is absolutely not.
Some would,
right. So does it fix the problem? The problem where the judges have always got it wrong. No, it doesn't. It won't, because like what Rick was saying and like what we said last week, it's down to a personal preference of what your eye believes to be the best. Unfortunately, it's the judge's decision what gets the prize, as long as they fit within a set of rules for them to be able to show. And when I say the rules, like the 30-day rules where you must own the fish for 30 days in your own pond and things like that. So, like I put in the discussion at the time. All right, it doesn't solve a problem. It's a nice thing to have, and it definitely changes things up. But it won't change people's perception of what they believe to be the better fish. And quite often, people see fish on different days, and they can and do look different. Certain fish,
Yeah, they do.
on different days.
I've noticed that we've been there for the 2-day events. A fish can look banging on day 2, but look a bit, a bit pink and a bit.
Yeah, especially shearers.
On day 1, when it's stressing out a little bit. Yeah.
Could you imagine going to Japan and saying, look, everyone showing a fish has got to have owned it in their pond for 30 days. Everyone, oh, shit.
Yeah, that'd be like, you having a laugh, mate? I've just bought this 5 minutes ago. It's going in.
It's stopped. That rule was put in place to stop people from buying a fish and putting it straight into a show vat.
Yeah, that works for England, but that doesn't work for Japan. So
it won't work for Japan, will it? And the other thing is, when we're looking at judging standards, there was a lot of noise made in the discussion about the Japanese being the be all and end all. All right, but what if the Japanese judge has only really got 5 years experience, and you're up against somebody that's got 20 years experience and seen that whole transition of fish from the Matanoshiki range all the way through now to the Sakai? Well,
but that's like
there's a huge amount of difference in experience.
But that doesn't necessarily mean the person with only 5 years experience can't do his job.
No, I agree with that. But
could do it better than him. He could have studied the masters and all their choices and decisions and learned everything from their experiences.
That's my point, right? It doesn't matter that is exactly my point. It doesn't matter where they're coming from, right? But there will be an element of someone is better than someone else. But who's to say the Japanese person is better than the judge in the UK? There isn't.
Nobody is, mate. But my point for having them there would be the attraction factor of it. That it would more than likely, let's say, for example, if they got one of, top breeders over there from Dainichi and he's coming over to have a look at them and he's passing his thoughts on fish that he's produced, he's sold, he's brought over to the UK, and now they're on our koi scene and getting somebody like that there. I mean, I reckon the people showing their fish would love to have.
Last year, Gaz. What is it? Was it Shinoda?
Mike brought over Omasako, so whatever they've done it. It's been done.
But you know what's dead funny? I had a look over a couple of the Japanese breeders that have come over, and they've been given an award to choose at the show, a Breeders' Choice Award. All right, so Omasako picked an Omasako fish, and Shintaro picked a Shintaro fish. All right, so
you were on a photo with last year, Gaz.
Shintaro, that would have been.
Was it Shintaro?
Well, have a look back at the results. The results are still there to see, right? So, does it really change anything? Because is a breeder going to pick a Dainichi fish over their own?
I think at the end of the day, you've got what you got in you. So the judging standards, I think, they're quite strict and they're quite robust, aren't they? Which. Yeah. So they should be, okay? You could have interpretations of it, but I don't know. I don't see there was much. I know some people might get upset the same fish win, but generally those same fish are the best fish.
Are best. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit sour grapes.
Yeah. I don't know so much sour grapes, but just, like you say, you look at your fish, you think, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But is it... You've got to look with those. It's hard. Well, I was on the farm. We deal with thousands of fish, and I look at fish. I think, that's going to do. That's dogs. But then I go somewhere like a show and look at them and think, I'm miles away.
But at the end of the day,
I'm miles away.
You look at what Vince achieved. If that were the case, that no one could sort of crack it and break into it, then that would have never happened, would it? He wouldn't have won anything.
Any koi did. Israeli, Polish, whatever. If it's the best example of variety, and to be fair, the Israeli stuff, that some of the Deutsch stuff, and again the Polish, some of their stuff's amazing. It would easily take prizes at national, as 40, 50 centimetre Deutsch stuff, no question. But it's different levels, isn't it? As you start going into the Go Sankey 60, 70 centimetre stuff, you're going into a world of proper stuff, you know, and it's totally different. You know, everything should be judged for what it is on the day.
And that is a great way of looking at it. What you say is it's what is judged on the day, right? And the judges can only judge what's benched, and the benching team can only bench what's brought in by the exhibitors.
Yeah.
You know, so you know that there's a huge picture involved with showing and judging, Corey, and quite often when we look at the difference between Japan and the UK, the Japanese that put their selection in, right? It's all paid for by the owner of the fish. Number one, that whole show is completely paid for by the exhibitors. They haven't got trade stand after trade stand after trade stand there supporting it. It's paid for by everyone that puts their fish in. Second to that, the people that own the fish don't rear the fish. They're there because it's the quality that the Japanese want to keep to show, and they will condition them fish. They will bring them fish up. The other part is in the UK, right? We ain't got that small percentage of fish for sale as dealers that we can give to you guys to put into show backs over here. It's a different standard altogether. So the UK judges have got to have a standard in order to be able to judge against them, because it's more based about what the hobbyists do rather than what the breeders have achieved. And it's a completely different type of background to how the competition runs. And without dealers, without exhibitors, then koi shows don't go ahead. You know, it's like, you know, exhibitors pay 40, 50 quid of that. I pay £1,500 for a pitch. And when you start looking at all the dealers that are around that show, without our input and our ability to attract you in to have a look at what deals there are, then people wouldn't necessarily go to koi shows. You know, I mean, every part of it has to work together. Don't get me wrong.
You're
but
right,
when
mate.
you look at the cost behind it, the cost isn't what the exhibitors get. The cost all comes from what we pay as dealers. You know, that covers a huge majority of the costs on the day. You know?
Yeah, and it is completely different. If I was to tell someone that doesn't know a lot about koi that I've just entered Dual Japan with a 90 centimetre carp, they'd be like, oh, amazing, I purchased it off the internet, 250 grand from Dainichi. He's reared it for me and he's taken it to the show. It's mine. I've never seen that fish. It's got nothing to do with me apart from I've chosen it and paid some money, and he's taken it as, and that's how they're. And then I've got to pay £1,000 for it to be shown or whatever. It's quite a chunk of money to show big fish at the so your cost is just multiplied, and it's an advert for the breeder. They would go, "You're mental. You just paid what for a fish you've never seen to get what?" It's just mad. But that's their scene because it's the home of all the breeders.
Yeah,
that's
the difference. Thing. If we had more breeders over here in the UK that bred more and more fish that we could purchase from our own breeders, and those breeders would then be coming here to partake alongside the judges in shows if we were showing them like that, it'd be a totally different setup, wouldn't it?
It would, but it would still it would never happen because they're the
just
land, the birthplace, whatever, isn't it? So all you can do in our shows is compete, be it Israeli, English, whatever, you know, in certain sides as the farm does something or concentrates on something and does stuff worthy of what people are buying in from Japan. You're not really going to ever overtake them because those breeds have still got those best, whatever variety is, you're only buying the best you can get from them, and then trying to sort of replicate them, as it were, and then offering those best fish to people in England, whereas the ones in Japan have been offered to the world. So you get a chance of getting something, a bit special.
It's like you was.
Stuff.
it's like you were saying, Rick. You saying like the breeders over in the UK are 20, 30 years behind the breeders in Japan.
Can some,
Now,
yeah.
well, yeah, and some maybe more so. Now, if we were to throw it on the opposite end and say, right, Daz, you were saying that we should keep it all British, then if we were going to do it like they do in Japan, or not take any influence from Japan, how would we go about getting it and doing it the British way when we're 30, 40, 50 years behind what they are in Japan? And next to hardly anybody producing fish for us to do it the British way.
But yeah, but the level of fish would go back 30, 40 years, wouldn't it? You'd go back, if you look at the All Japan champion 40 years ago, that would be about as where you just go back to your point. But you get countries like Australia or banned imports or whatever, of course, so they've got no choice but to do stuff that way or whatever. You know, it's an alien species or whatever. It's a nightmare getting fish in, so they do breed fish there. They do their shows that are their fish or whatever. You know, but I don't know. You just got to work with what you got. You know, fish will come in from Japan basically forever, and they will be the best fish. And if a few English farms produce fish, or Polish farms or whatever can compete in certain varieties and certain sizes and show a good hand, superb. And we will all improve. But as we improve, they improve.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, we're always going to be that far behind, though, aren't we, Rick? Because we can't afford the quality of broodstock that they've got.
It's not just affording it; it's getting hold of some of those fish.
Yeah,
and being able to rear the numbers. And you'd literally, the only way of doing it in this country is if someone went turned around and said, "Look, I'll buy your farm. I don't want to make any money from your farm for the next 20 years, and we're just going to concentrate on top end Go Sankey from Sakai. We're going to follow that bloodline, spend 20 years, use your entire farm to do 2 parent sets a year, and get the maximum from them."
Yeah,
and the costs would be astronomical.
Yeah.
But we would then compete with one variety in that level.
Yeah,
Would it be worth it? I don't think so. It's just
no one would invest money in that.
Everybody have a pond full of Sankeys, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
Yeah,
not a bad choice.
But that's kind of the process you have to go down. If you want to compete at a top end in a variety, you've got to get the absolute best you can, use all of the offspring to the absolute maximum you can, and do it for enough time that you become the best Shishui breeder on the planet, the best Sankey breeder on whatever it happens to be line you're going down. But it will take our entire farm, probably 20 years to get to
that level.
So someone's got to pay for 20 years of basically no income.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Which is not doable.
Nope.
Realistic, you do as a business. We can supply a level of fish that have their marketplace. And if some really good ones come out of that, and people do well with them, and more people grow them and the environment. Don't get me wrong, genetics is, like I say, only half the battle. The environment is massive.
Yeah, that's where we're screwed. We're not close enough to equator, are we? We just don't have the temperatures. We don't have the warmth. We don't have the land space.
Erratic our temperatures, whereas in Japan it's a lot steadier. It's pretty much 30 degrees pretty much every day.
Not far off, is it? That's the thing. But it's the growing out of season and knowing how you do it. Ricky's showing up there, up in the arse end of Retford or whatever. You can do it.
Yeah.
You start with a good product. You can do it.
But could you do that on a commercial level?
Well, he's doing it on a commercial level. That's exactly what he's doing. He's just, rather than breeding, he's
buying
and doing it.
If you wanted to specify, if you wanted to do that to that, I mean,
the problem is to
do every category and every type that you do.
So he can go to 20 breeders and buy 1,000 fish from each of a good level to grow on. For me to produce 1,000 fish from 20 varieties of a good level, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's what you're saying. Ricky's doing it. He's not doing it, is it? Cherry picking fish from another country, bringing them home and growing them on. He's not actually doing the breeding side of things like you are. That's what I was meaning.
He's turned around and says, it's just, why would you? He's not daft,
Yeah,
is he?
yeah,
Why would you?
yeah. Why would you?
Yeah.
If you can buy him in, why would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again,
it's the
you
love
wouldn't
of
be where
it,
you
isn't
are
it?
if you
The love
didn't,
of
would you?
doing it.
We got one statement there from Tony. He said, I could quite see if they're an international show, then there should be judges from each country involved. But for an individual local country show, then the judges should be from your own country, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
It does. But you also get countries maybe like Taiwan, Thailand, where they're buying in top end fish. It's a lot easier for a judge from Japan to go to a show, the kudos of it, and you haven't got the train. The judges here are trained for years. You know, some countries here, you haven't got the judges. So you've got people.
So they have to bring people in.
You have to bring, because you can't just become a judge. It's not easy. It's a lot of years and a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for some countries, it's easier to buy good fish and bring in a judge. If you go to a koi show, you bring some judges in because you haven't got any judges of your own.
They do have a set criteria for the way that you progress through being judges, which is obviously trainee judge, and then you have to once you pass through your trainee judge, you get the proper blazer, so forth. But you have to then work with a senior judge, and it's all done on how many shows that you've actually attended, and that's where the judging in the UK falls foul, because there's only a few shows a year. So to come on to Claude's question, they do go abroad to do the judging, but the difference is when they go abroad, right, they have to adopt to the standards of the country that they're judging in. So when you look at the ZNA in Europe, they've got a complete different set of competition criteria and different awards for different fish to what we've got in the UK and what Japan have got. So, you know, again, it all goes round. So even if we had judges from Japan come to the UK, they would still have to judge off of the back of the standard of the British judging standards. You know, and it's the same if, like, Alan goes across to the ZNA, like the Holland Koi show, for example,
Which is just
he has to adopt into what their set rules are. So, again, the rules are there, and it'd be the same for the dog breeders as well. It's like you come across to our standards or their standard. Unless it's a worldwide recognised standard, you have to adopt to what that country's standards are.
Yeah. So then surely if the Japanese was going to come over to judge in the UK, they'd have to adopt to us.
That's what they should.
Yeah.
At the end
So
of
what's
the
the
day,
point of them coming over in the first place?
The attraction does. The famous.
You've been argumentative tonight, Mr. Hoyle.
No, I'm not. I'm just
Not
playing.
like you at all.
I am trying to be the equal party, mate. And this is for you guys to have your opinions and say what is. But you know, if I don't throw in the opposite sides of either scale, then there is no discussion or topic, is there?
I suppose not.
But yes, Mr. Tate has judged in Japan, and he's just recently been to Holland, hasn't he? And he's just judged over there. So yeah, he does. Claude.
we get English people go over
Yeah,
judging.
I think we should do a little. We should grow some fish, and we should sell them to people and say, "Come back here and show them in summer," and we'll do it on loan.
Yeah.
So everybody else can get a massive big ant bite on the leg, like I did.
I mean, again, just to throw something else into the mix. Okay, there's a lot of this. The British Koi Keeping Society should bring judges over from Japan, and again, that all comes at a cost. All right, so it is one to put into the mix, right? So if we bring somebody over from Japan, all right, the Japanese would expect their flight paid for, their picking up from the airport, everything to be paid for, food, accommodation, hosting, etc. And quite rightly so, because if they invited you over, they'd cover that cost, right? Alan Tate in the UK, all right, he lives in quite a remote area of the UK. And for him to travel down to like the Southeast Koi show, I'm just going to use that as an example, that's like a 7-hour journey for him. And he don't get paid fuck all.
Yeah.
You should go to Japan then. Get paid for it.
But you know, but this is the thing. It's like what makes it right. Secondly, to that, the committee of the BKKS don't own the club, right? The club belongs to the members that pay their subs, all right. So that whole treasury belongs to everybody within the BKKS, every member. It's not just the committee. The committee decide how it's spent, all right. So you know, it then comes back to the fact of who makes the decision of whether or not they use our money to bring over judges from Japan, right? When that could cost, let's say, £5,000 for 3 judges, probably more, right? But what could that £5,000 like bring elsewhere? Does it bring the cost of the VATs down? You know, there's just so much more involved in let's just bring the Japanese judges over, you know. And I'm not against it. I'm just throwing other like thoughts to the mix because it's bigger than, you know, they'll do that. You know, it's like for me, I don't, you know, I see that we don't we don't get much for our money, but 17 quid to become a yearly member gets you a percentage discount when you're coming through the door. But ultimately, it puts on what I regard as an extremely good show for everyone to attend. You know, and that 17 quid is not actually a lot of money when you look at how much things actually really cost.
Yeah.
So, well, Si's just put in a comment there. Are the judges in the UK allowed to deliberate with each other whilst they're casting their vote for each award?
Yes.
Quick answer to that one. Right, and then Perrin Williams.
What will happen is just to rewind, right? So they'll go round on round. They'll judge up. They'll vote against who they want to progress through, and then they'll get their allotted amount to shortlist basically. And then from that shortlist, they'll go round again. They'll put in their votes, and then once the vote comes in, they'll look at it, but they'll deliberate against what's good, what's bad, and really which way it should be. Especially when you've got like 3 fish, 4 fish, they'll look over them, and then against where experience comes in. There's, you know, I know there's times where X fish has been voted for against X fish, but then when one of the judges points out something that other judges haven't seen, they'll go back, have a look, come back, and then change their vote out or stick to it. You know, so it's not an easy task. Try doing it yourself, right? Try going around the show vats in the amount of time that they do in order to judge 650 fish in a day, and see how easy it really is.
But there won't be any fish that they'd pick.
No, they would. They would. No, you'd be quite surprised, Gaz. But you know, just bearing in mind, they get 20, 30 seconds per fish per vat.
I mean, it's not a. Yeah, it wouldn't be an easy task, would it? What about that then? For an example, I pay £35 a year for a Ferrari Silverstone club, and I get a cap as part of it. I'd pay more for the BKKS membership if I got something back, like an annual club mug.
And it's something that's been raised, like from last week, and it's something that's been noted and something that will be discussed. I know that for a fact.
There we go. With your 30 plus years into the breeding, why couldn't you judge fish? That's to Rick.
Because I haven't done any judging courses, so I look at fish.
You don't need to be.
But I could go as a guest judge, and I would pick fish that. Well, to be fair, certain fish are obvious; it's not an issue. But if I see a fish with developing sumi, I think I appreciate that something coming on. And now I'm turn and go, yeah, but the sumi's not finished. You're judging it on the day as it's finished, and I'm looking at.
You're looking at what it's going to potentially become, as opposed to what it's.
Yeah, so I'd see things in a totally different way, but that's part and parcel of it. But they've done years and years of judging, and I might even I'd look at a fish and just perhaps more like a Japanese person would, in the fact that it's the aura it gives off, the way they behave, just there's certain things about fish you just really like. You can see two fish that are of a similar quality, but they give off a different vibe about the pattern, about the movement, about the way they show themselves, about the way they move, and you think that's amazingly attractive, and that I can't be dealing with that. Done.
And that's a judging standard that people don't necessarily know or understand, which is they must see, every judge must see that koi swimming towards them in a straight line to be able to judge whether they hold themselves in the water right, whether they present the fins in the right manner, right? And to the untrained eye, the people it's a skill that you really have to try and hone in on. It's a little bit like looking at fin size. Until someone tells you about it, you might not necessarily pick up on it because you're looking at all the other amazing facts about that fish, right? But then if everything looks good, but then actually when you see it in the water, it's sitting slightly off when it swims, and it's slightly off center, right? Or it swims off in an oblique manner, right? Then that then loses points and actually can cost it a championship. And that's something else that people don't see, that have an opinion that fish is better than that one. It's like, are you actually looking at all of the factors that the judges do?
Yeah, there's a massive amount of the training and skill involved, and I haven't got it. Well, I've got it to look at fish.
You have, Rick.
Millions of
you
fish.
Have, Rick.
Look at them a different manner to a judge. A judge would look at them.
So one thing that was brought up, Rick, for changing how it judges, about having like seasoned hobbyists judge fish.
Well, I mean,
because you have a seasoned hobbyist that will still look at fish and completely miss the fact that it's got tiny pecks or no peck or one. There's different. You look at different elements, don't you? So
I for me, it's like a lot of hobbyists will hone in on a couple of varietals that they become extremely good at raising.
Yeah.
What about those ones that they don't know about? How can they judge them fish?
Well, what about like how Claude said there? Look, I mean, I think this is a good idea. This is something that should be put to the BKKS as part of public engagement. Should have the most popular fish with the viewing public. Everyone looking into that, choosing their favourite, and the winner announced at the end of the day or the end of the show.
It's been done.
Engagement is a bit of fun, but why did they ever stop doing that? That would be absolutely fantastic.
I'll say why. Because the results get fudged.
How? Fudge is nice chocolate, though.
Because there's arseholes out there, mate, that fucking buck the system because they want to show they've got a bit of silverware.
Oh, right,
you know, and there's people out there that will look to fucking spoil that sort of thing for us.
Friends to vote for them and everything,
yeah.
Well,
There's all
idea.
that sort of thing. But it's been done. It's called the People's Choice Award, right? But it's been done. But then after looking back and stuff, you actually realise that it's not a fair award to give. So why give an award when people have just took the piss? You know, and when but you don't notice that until after you start analysing how it's gone. Yeah, but it happens, and this is the other part of the politics that people don't see, and I'll put it out there because I know for a fact what's happened. I ain't going to say what I know, but that is basically the be all and end all of why that award stopped.
Colin says, like my thank you about that only swims backwards, lol.
Yeah, it's true. He got a good thank you there, Cole.
Expert reverse swimmer.
If you don't want it, I'll have it.
It was nice, mate. Yeah. You missed out on a few bangers this week, but you really did.
Pockets
anyway, I think that's. Hang about. They've just got a message there from Ryan. I did send him a little bit of an invite. Evening, DT. Sorry, mate. I did give you. I gave you one of them. That's what you'll give us when you join. So I'll give you one of them.
Yeah, because camera wasn't quite right.
Ryan said he's down there at the show and he's been setting up all day. It might say, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, Crafter. Shinkokai members judge all the shows in Japan and have worldwide members, and none of them have any form of judging experience. It's just raw koi knowledge.
That's experience then.
Well, we got raw coin knowledge, very raw.
Yeah, mine's raw.
Yeah, but that in itself is, if everyone's on the same song sheet, then it's cast from so many different views that, you know, it probably makes it a real non-biased fucking award, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, it would do, wouldn't it?
It would, but you always get a loser that says, well, they don't know nothing. My fish.
Right? And it's so true. It's like, then, you know, the exhibitor says that fish was better than that one. They must all be fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part and parcel, isn't it? You will never, everyone that
See, Dr. Kempo, you see, he's put that. I said that koi shows only information. Now, the last time that we went to was only information was this. Was the VAT should be age, breeder, koi, no owner information at all. Now, I think...
Okay, so you need to cross the age out and put the size.
I think, yeah, the age makes no difference, does it?
Irrespective.
Yeah, well, yeah, change the age for size and breeder.
And why does the breeder need to be part of it?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
why would you start?
You're tipping scales, aren't you, if you start putting that in? So it should be size, type.
No, size and category. Size and category.
Yeah.
And nothing more. But I personally, for me, it's been nice when I've been able to walk around and go, oh, John Smith, that is one banging koi. Because I've appreciated being able to say to that person, that's the fish. For me, I would have picked that Goshiki that were in there last year when we were there. And I said that, and the person contacted me personally and said, thank you very much for your kind comment. And that bit was a nice little bit of an engagement between them and the owner of that fish. But I can understand where you're coming from, Dr. Kemper. For a show side of things, it would make it a lot less biased if there were no owner information there. But for a visitor, for somebody doing YouTube, I want to see more of that. So I kind of sit on the fence.
I was going to say
Nice,
you then, Gaz, to be fair, because as soon as you go to shows and whatever, and you do with the videos and stuff like that, saying that name might make their week. Just be, you know, on YouTube and saying that this is my VAT with this amount of koi and whatever else in.
Yeah, but the way, like Size just said there is no owner info prior to judging. So if it's after judging and they've been judged and then the owner's name's there, that's the best of both worlds. Then you can turn around and say.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I ask questions because on the Sunday you literally get your stickers next to your benching picture to say whether that fish has won an award or placed, etc. next to it. Okay. Previously, I know that it's the owner, and then underneath one of them fish, it's what type of fish it is with who the dealer was, etc. Okay. They even took away the type of the dealer away from that, and I asked because as an up and coming dealer, and you know, and starting to break into the koi show scene, I see it as quite good exposure to people to know where that fish that has taken a place has come from. But it all boils down to the amount of time taken to do all of the benching and input all of that info. And what happens is that they have some people that have got the ability to put all that in and some people that don't. And so in the end, they literally dropped it because it ended up being a bit of an admin chase trying to get people to update the information correctly in order for them to display that. So it's not always as clear cut as what, again, people are saying on here. When it comes to the judging standards, they literally get a picture and a size of each fish and the category that they're judging in. I don't see all of the other information. And that information is only produced when they run off the complete amount of information on new sheets, so they can then award every single fish, put the stickers on, and then go and present it at the VAT. And that only happens after the judges actually have done their job.
Have done their bit, so that they're just literally all they get to see is fish in a bowl. Fact.
Yeah, they literally get a list of from the benching that is done via the exhibitor. Right, they get a picture of and a list of all of which vats, which fish are in. So what they'll do is they'll split off and go, you do size 1 and 5, you do 2 and 6, you do 3 and 7, blah blah. Right, so they all have their own judging awards to go and judge against. But that's literally all split down. So if you've got 9 judges, you'll have 3 teams of 3 going round doing different size categories and different varieties.
I agree with that one as well. The dealers should be part of the info again, in my opinion. And I do think that's to give a little bit of quality due to where the people's bought the fish from, and then that gives them an understanding of what type of quality the fish you can get from said dealer.
I remember 2-3 years ago, like exclusively koi was plastered. Their name was plastered over so many vats that it starts turning your attention towards them. And again, it was the same for me this year. We picked up quite a few awards, from places, but no one got to see. People browsing didn't get to see that they come from crafter's shop. But it is what it is. Everyone was put the same way. But then there's always, this is what we think against this is what other people think, and it can create problems. With there being a lot of bitchiness as to who does what for what dealer and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but if that information went on after awards had been given, then that would be nice for everybody to be able to see, wouldn't it? And it does.
I think so. But again, it's something that was decided to take away because, again, if you're following the Japanese standards that everybody seems to think should happen, then every fish that wins a major gets showed by breeder, owner, and handler. But we don't do it in the UK. But I don't see many people making noise about that.
Right then, come on, ladies and gents. As we all need to be, as many as we can possibly get there. One thing we all need to do and all need to agree on is that we all need to be there in mass numbers this weekend to show the guys some support, some love, and the dealers and everybody else that's going to be there, the caterers and everybody else, all included. With the big package that they put on for us all, it's the least we can do to turn up and arrive and be there and appreciate it all. So I certainly will be. We'll be there for the full shebang, and obviously we'll be bumping in with Crafty, and we'll be popping in to see Ryan and everybody else that we can go around and have a natter and a chat with. Feel free, guys, to come up and have a natter and a chat, because at the end of the day, we will just be walking around having a laugh and a giggle as we always do. And hopefully enjoying it. Dave Bradley says there, I'm going Sunday. It's my first show. First show. Looking forward to meeting and talking. 100%, Dave. Don't be afraid to come over, mate, and have a natter and have a chat. It was brilliant last show that we went to. And we had so many people coming and having a natter and a chat. That's a wicked one. It made the day even more enjoyable.
Gaz,
well, I'm even going on train this time round. To make it a bit different. So, yeah.
Is Ross coming this year to Newark, Gaz?
No. Sorry, Dave. Is Ross incoming, mate? It's expensive to get a flight here and a flight back just to come over. So he's going to do that one event, and he's going to hit that one with us each year. So
brilliant.
We won't be seeing him for them all. I think he also got invited to the Toy Tubers Fest, but I believe it was his daughter's birthday that weekend too. So he's not going to be attending that one. But nice guy, Ross.
He was a nice guy. He's off my list.
He's a good lad. Brilliant. It's only the catering calf that they asked the catering. It's only the catering their calf.
Basically, they had part of the show was to put on
like spit roast Oh,
You can't just say spit roast, guys. You can't say that.
Come on.
No.
You're going.
Again, this all falls down back to the actual site. The people that give you the right to like take the venue on, they've also got small businesses operating from within. And when Liam that had the Hogs Trotters or whatever it was called,
that was it.
like,
That's it.
catering
Yeah.
van,
That was nice.
it took too much out of the small business on site. So
Oh, right. So,
again, they're like, you know, you can't have it this year. So it's not down to the actual people putting it on. It's down to the restrictions that are put in place.
From the show, yeah.
It's the same at the National as well. The amount of money they charge. You know, that's why, like, when you go to any event, a burger costs like 18 quid, and actually they're paying for their pitch. You know, they don't earn much more out of it.
yeah, makes sense. You can understand it, but at the same time, then that's.
Does that mean we can't?
I
take
don't
any
understand it
pot
because I have to drop all the prices of my koi. So you fuckers
Well, that's
buy
good
it.
for everyone else, then, Crafty. Everyone else wins, and you're out of pocket. Win a chicken dinner.
You got it.
YouTuber Fest, £20 a burger, mate.
Dr.
All in.
Dr. Kempo put there, breeder equals quality. So what you're
Incorrect.
saying there, and I know, Dr. Kempo, that you've been on there and said that Rick's fish are stunning, that's beautiful, that's this, that's that. But if breeder eaters quality, Rick, what do you reckon to that for a statement?
Well, no, I don't disagree to some degree. That's
Yeah,
if you
but
want, if you want the best Sankey
you
in the
can
world,
get a beautiful fish from anywhere, can't you? It
Yeah,
doesn't
if you
necessarily have to come from the world's best to be the world's best fish.
yeah, but if
It
you
does
want,
help.
if you
I
want
know it helps. I'm not saying it doesn't. but
Sankey
Does
cut,
it?
whatever it is, you're going to get a much better chance going to spend top dollar with the top breeder. But the breeder doesn't always equal quality
I'll have
because
some
I've seen lots of crap from certain breeders, and it's not sold as crap, but it can go wrong as well as anything can go wrong. But if you're in the pinnacle of what you're after, then surely the breeder does mean everything.
It does, Rick, but if you're putting that onto, if that's displayed on the benching sheet for the judges,
then you could be biased about just going, well, that's
are you judging the breeder,
the fish or the
or
breeder,
are
yeah.
you judging the quality of the fish that's in there?
But that's the cloud and the judgment, isn't it? That's where if you look at a fish and you know it's from a certain farm, you know how much it cost, you can't help but start getting an opinion about it. That's why.
But that's where the judging knowledge comes in, isn't it? That, you know, good judges will go, that's Omasako. That's not.
It's not a great example of Omasako.
Yeah, you know. Thank you, sweetheart.
But the reality is, if a breeder's renowned, Sakai Fish Farm, I mean, they've won the All Japan 7 out of the last 10 times. You know, their fish are, of course, they're quality. But if you want to buy one of their best fish, you know, 10 grand for a decent Nisai, whatever it is, it's mental. You can't even get hold of their best fish. So that's why there's a message out there.
That's another thing that it's about there. Dave Bradley says, can't wait, guys. Cheers. Put out a message locally to offer lifts. I'm bringing 2 people I've never met. Going to be awesome. And that's the beauty of it, mate. That's the beauty of this whole thing. The whole package.
If we don't hear from Dave again next week,
people going out there and having a banging day with something that you've never ever met before, enjoying and appreciating something that you're all passionate about. That could have been.
It's about bringing everyone together, isn't it, into one venue, which would be marvelous. And people that, you know, like yourself, guys, everyone watches you on the TV or your videos, and then seeing you in person is totally different. I've had a few people come up to me and they're talking to you like they're knowing, and you're like,
twice
this is amazing. How this happened?
Well, that's how we met Ross, wasn't it, Gaz?
It was, mate. Yeah, that's exactly how we met Ross. Yeah, it was.
Jeff gave me a lift.
Jeff gave Ross a random stranger a lift to an event that we put on, and it's grown and ever grown from that, hasn't it?
Yeah,
how it should be.
Yeah, that's how new friendships and relationships are made.
If we don't hear from Dave again next week, we know he's been murdered in the car by two psychos.
That reminds me, must pack a spade.
Ah!
There are toilets there, mate.
No, I meant for burying Dave.
Oh, right. I thought you meant for going for a shovel wrecking.
Yeah, but which Dave
Oh,
now?
shit
You know
in the
about me,
field.
thanks.
You don't do none of that soldier nonsense.
Breeders should be shown after judging. I agree.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, if someone's so the owner of the fish in this country should get recognition for it because they've had the fish for a period of time and done something with it. The supplier and the breeder should, if they know them, should also be put on. But again, after the event.
Yeah.
But if that
I'm just laughing at Sorry, just laughing at Colin's comment there. It says, Dave, sounds like Hitchhiker 2 in the making. But don't turn up, call the cops.
Yeah.
Now then, have we got any other topics or anything else that anybody would? Dave, in fact, would you like to bring up any topics? Would you like to have anything this evening to talk about? Seeing as though they've disappeared for many a month, I must have say.
No, I've just been sitting in the background, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go on for once, and make a nice comeback video at the weekend. And I was going to make a weekend of it, but my God, prices of hotels round there.
Hotels, Dave. There's a campsite up. There's a campsite literally up the road, 5 minutes up the road from where the showground is, at £16 a night, mate.
Well, it won't show me anywhere on Google where it was, so I'll. Yeah,
well, you were searching for
there,
hotels, that's not a campsite. You're not going to get a campsite when you're typing in
boutique hotel.
Well, even well, it don't matter now, does it? I won't pay over the £100.
No, I wouldn't have done either, mate. Either. I could have just slept in bush, couldn't you?
Well, I'll be wearing all black, so I'm sure I'll camouflage.
You could have always approached Lee Hadfield. He's looking for someone to spoon with. He said you could.
No, crafty stories about that. I'd rather not.
You're a younger man. Might be more his cup of tea.
Yeah. Just don't get bitten by his mosquito.
No, thank you. But the efforts there, going on 2 trains one way and then probably another bit of public transport. And then hopefully by the end of this year, I should have passed my driving test. Yeah.
The freedom that'll involve.
Forced our campsites.
Or you could get yourself an electric scooter.
Oh, Dad, don't be going down this road
motorway.
You could have done security over the vats for the night, being paid to be there for the whole night.
Yeah.
What says Crafty? You're getting old, covering up your snuggle blanket.
He did put a blanket on. I saw him.
You just put a blanket on. That sat in house. You sat in house for shorts on. You've just put a blanket over your legs.
Well, the fucking back door's wide open, man.
What's on with a jumper, Crafty?
Is this your second tea that you're making up for previous lives?
No, I keep my meds in an egg box.
How many do you take?
Bloody hell.
You can get a proper little case from chemists, like with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You can get these and they're free of charge with 12x.
12 days of the week.
Oh dear me! Which train station you coming in, DT?
Well, going from Wakefield and then ends up. No, just. I think there's only one in Newark.
Funny that being in Newark. I didn't think you'd be getting off in Birmingham.
Well, you never know. It might take a detour. Who knows? They're going to get there on time.
Question for
But
Dave.
It's not actually that expensive.
What colour are you going with?
What do you mean? What colour am I going with?
Black, isn't he?
It can go with my logo, so everyone knows who I am. What colour am I going with? Certainly not the colour you think of.
Oh, no.
Is he going with flat cap?
Pinker.
No. Oh,
Top Jagger says there's 2 in Newark, mate. There's 2 train stations in Newark.
Oh, no.
You know you've got the wrong one, mate.
So he can drive past the right. drive past you at the right one, waving, Dave.
Oh, it's fucked it.
Oh, DT.
It's fucked it. Look,
He's gone.
He's
mate.
gone.
Oh, the colour samples on the wall behind you saying.
Oh, where's it
near
gone?
the
There we
door.
go. Newark North
Near the
Gate. Sorry,
door.
I'm trying to find it.
The colour samples on the wall behind you saying which one you're going with.
Whichever
yeah, go
one.
with anyone. He just keeps buying sample pots or getting free sample pots. Gonna patchwork paint the whole fucking room.
That one there. Not
Colin
like I'm
says
bothered.
DT Coy get in with Dave.
Yeah, where's Dave
I'm
going?
gonna Scooby Doo.
Dave
No, man,
Bradley.
to the other side of the country.
Dave Bradley's picking up rest of hitchhikers, so he might chuck you in.
Just put a
Some
cardboard
reasons to
sign
do
up. DT Coy needs a lift in Newark. Anybody
Hang on, Dave.
interested?
It's all right, mate. You don't have to panic. He says you're not his type. Oh God. North
Colin,
Gate.
are you going up? Are you going up to the show, Cole, this week?
There's a bit of a delay. It'll take him a while.
There's a statement. I think judges should be at the show Saturday and Sunday to answer questions on exhibitors' fish. Also, it would be great to get a vid of the judges judging to get an idea of what they're thinking.
I agree on that. Yeah.
But then again, if you did that, then if you got all that inside information of what they're saying and what they're thinking, then would that not be?
Social media would absolutely fucking slaughter them, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the reason why referees don't fucking get mic'd up the whole time, except for their decisions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be there to answer questions about stuff for general people is not a bad thing, is it?
No, that
But
would be.
they are there for that. You know, Alan Tate certainly does sit behind and he does answer questions.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen.
I don't think a lot of it's not to have a go at the judges. It's just to understand, isn't it? You know, like
What was wrong with it? Where did it fail? Where can I improve? Kind of thing. What should I do to better that fish for next year? Where would you like to see that fish be in 12 months' time, so I can show it again and see if I can improve on that kind of thing, stuff like that.
Well, they might have to do that with people on an evening or something. Maybe we just don't know, do we?
Well,
you know something, mate. This is from what I know. It's a vicious circle because they've done things in the past after listening to feedback and what people's views are. For example, doing little seminars, right, or judges being left behind to then take people round to the vats afterwards to discuss things like that. And the amount of people that come forward and take them up on their offer is so small in comparison to the people that ask that it really doesn't become worth their while.
Yeah, we've tried it.
Colin and Dave having a right conversation between themselves. Come and say hello, Colin. Just look out for the guy walking funny. Or the other one with a shovel hanging out the back of his head. I'm not reading that one out.
Why not?
After your passages have finished with you, do you have a limp? Right then, let's get into a little bit of
Yes.
limp what? Ah, dear me. Let's get
the topic changed quick.
Appreciation. Let's bring some fish up quick before it goes wrong. Right then, first one, Sally Harfield is going to be the first fish we bring up this evening. We'll have a quick look at them. Oh crap, wrong screen. That one. And then Oh, facts. Where the hell's that just gone? There we go. This is Sally's first one. First. It's quite a nice fish, isn't it?
Very nice.
Got a nice body to it and a nice pattern.
Nice force tip.
Yeah.
Good Chiroji.
Can we have Matsukawa back here next week? Top Chagger.
Well,
We have a list, but if that's not on for next week, it will be whatever it is, and I'll have to have a word with the powers that be to tell me what fish it is next week because I've forgotten. I've forgotten.
Ooh, that's nice.
It is nice, isn't it? Let's see if there's any details as to where it's from. Wash guy, 25 cm. So there's his first one. A second one from Perfect Aquatics. Now, how do you pronounce that?
Otsuka, it's supposed to be.
I want to say I thought it was Otsuka's the one.
Kawawa.
So this is Otsuka, 15 cm, was 12, now 15. And this is Tony's. Oh, look at that. Tony, you filmed it right where that gives a proper full screen of fish.
Look at that.
That's nice. Real nice.
Yeah, it is a nice fish, that.
Mm.
And it's something different, isn't it?
What, to a Goromo?
No, with patterning and the styling. Jesus Christ, Rick. I'm going before my fish comes on. Oh, my Lord.
Why?
Nice. Is it Sally's the first one? Was that the first one?
The first one was Sally's. This one's
Cheeky little toes eye from Anthony Morris.
Amalokai.
I like that style of Goromo.
That's a nice one, that, mate.
Yeah.
Now, this is.
Oh, God.
Now,
I'm going.
This is, fellas, DT Coys.
He's filmed it upside down.
I'm going to say, turn your phone round,
It's
Dave.
because I needed to do some editing with it, but at the minute my PC's in shop getting repaired, so I couldn't edit it to do it the other way around.
No, but you could have just turned your phone the way around when you recorded it.
Is it Deutz,
I
Dave?
did.
No, it's not Deutz.
No,
It's not Deutz.
Quite like it, Dave, mate.
Well, they all look Deutz on my phone.
Fucking Nokia 2010. You still play Snake on yours?
Right.
I plug it in with a piece of string.
Top Jagger, the next fish for next week is Eniginrin, and the week after is Matsukawa Baka, which technically is a Ginrin.
Something tells me that Top Chagger's got a nice Matsukawa Baki that he wants to show people.
Dave, that's nice, mate.
That's nice, Dave.
It's good.
That's nice.
50 cm.
It's what?
50? Is that what it's up to now? 50?
Yeah, we're up to 50 cm at the start of this year. And it was from Wakefield Koi. I couldn't tell you the actual breeder. But that was the deal.
Bought from Crouch Valley Koi Show, Hirasawa and Marasai. And these are Anthony Morris's again. Tony's.
On it.
That
Oh,
way.
It's wrong, Tony.
That one's having none of it, is it? Right. Sorry. Ginrin's next week.
My yellow monkey done that. I lost my yellow monkey on Wednesday.
Oh,
yesterday.
no.
Oh, you're joking.
Yeah, fucking done
Jeez.
upon me.
Bugger.
Your big one in the shop.
Bigger.
No, my one in my pond here.
Have you got a net on it, Crafty?
He did enough.
You have now.
But is this Ginrin one that sneaked back in again? How did it jump? Did it just jump back in, Ball?
Tony put it back in.
No,
there.
I netted it back in.
He jumped back in. That's
He netted it back in the top.
Is that
Is
GKP?
that Ginrin one not an Ochiba? It's a bit odd looking.
I said that Ginrin was definitely an achiever, and it surely to God.
It does look a bit
Colin,
achieved.
you did. Yes, you did, mate.
I don't know. Wait till it goes back in again. Hang about. Let's go jump back in. There we go.
Just here.
Yeah.
It does. It looks brown.
But to be fair, everyone's quite not up to it.
That's obviously why it jumped out in the first place.
Yeah, because it's Ginrin. It just thought it realised that the Ginrin isn't a achiever. The
See,
Ginrin
it's a
just thought,
judge,
hang on,
right?
I'm not supposed to be here till next week, so it jumped out. Get back in again, Tony.
That's almost got a full head pattern. That really puts me off. Like
Which both of them have actually.
but on the Gromo, that's just I don't know how to say about that. I know it's got a little bit on the nose. You might say it's not a full head pattern, but for me, that's
heavy-headed pattern.
It would qualify it as a pattern, but again, this is where what you were saying earlier, Rick, the aura that the fish pulls off, it just takes away for a judging's perspective. You know, I'm the same, mate. When I see it, I'm like, that bit comes away from me.
But it doesn't fit what it should look like, and so yeah.
I think what he's trying to say there, Tony, is technically that mom might have been disqualified in Rick's eyes.
It's not disqualified. It's just
it comes to demerit in comparison. So again, when you're judging your fish, split it down the middle and take it into thirds. It's if you're up against something of equal value, right? Which one's got the best head pattern? That one would come right down there in the scoring merits.
Now then. This is one with a bit of development to come on it.
Right.
What did it say breeder was? It was breeder equals quality, obviously.
Must be one of mine.
Oh, it didn't even say. Purchased from Perfect Aquatics. This is Bubble and Fins, Vicky's. That's nice as well.
It is.
That's going to be an interesting see. I'd look at that and think, I really want to see that in a few years because I think that's going to go so robed in the background. It's going to look, it's almost like a Gromo show or something, isn't it? It's so dark in the background. But the pattern is that could go one or two ways, couldn't it? Super gamble.
A super gamble.
Super gamble. Yeah. So that's the sort of fish I'd always want to keep because you just want to see what that does.
Learn from.
Yeah. That's like so in a judging standard, you'd almost be marking it from my eyes. I'd want to keep that, but from a judging standard, you'd think, well, it's not. Yeah, the Shiroji, it's just not. It's a baby in it. It's nowhere near.
Yeah, it's nowhere near ready for showing.
It's got no. You got no idea.
Colin says for next week, can I put my Ginrin in? Can I put my Sankey from last night, or does it need to be in the pond for 30 days?
No, we're Japanese style. You can come straight from the breeder.
Yeah. So
I'll do quite.
Marcus says that's nice as well.
Yeah, mate, that's got some.
Yeah, that's
I had an opportunity of getting one from Rick when I got my new fish, and I should have gone with one because he had a really bloody nice one. Kind of when you think, especially when Showa died, shit, I should have gone with the Gromo.
There's got to be a fucking water shortage everywhere, man.
I mean, that's got some serious quality.
Yeah,
It's got some serious potential, isn't it?
that's nice, isn't it?
Look at the head on that one.
What was that one from? Did it say breeder Gromo Marasai? Marasai? Marish.
Comment for today. The comment underneath it does.
Measured today 30 cm plus body in 5 weeks.
He's got some cracking fish markers.
That man.
That has definitely put some nice body on that.
That's chunked out well quick, hasn't it?
Just a lovely clean header as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just that little sort of Benny spot on the head's just a touch bigger in it, and it's going to a show.
Yep. I'd show. Well, even with that, I'd still show it. The small demerit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Bit of Photoshop and take that out, mate. No problem.
Yeah, very nice. Last one from Crafty's auction a couple of weeks ago. Put 1 cm, now 27.
Do you think he's wearing a wig?
No, it's not.
This has got long hair. Oh, Crafty, that's one of those ones, isn't it?
That's the Momentero one, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
There's a couple in that vat like that, isn't there? There were
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 of them.
No,
That's another
Come
one of
have a
those
look
ones
at
that
the
you wanted to
weekend.
keep because you didn't want to sell it because you want to see how it progressed. At least, Marcus, at least we better get to see it. Nice one.
At least we get to see it.
Jeff Lee's bought April 46 cm bought in April, bought at 18 cm April last year. Oh, Jeff, is that no way? Is that the Ginrin one that you got from Wakefield Toai?
Done right, isn't it?
Yeah, give over.
Shit, man. if
Now that
that
you
is,
mention it like that, guys, I remember it now.
that's done some changing if it has as that.
Yeah.
God damn. Oh, God. That's...
These on your Facebook, Gus?
Yes.
Well, have a look on the screen. It's not downgraded.
Nice, isn't it? It's a shame, but the pattern's too tight across the shoulder, isn't it? Gives it a weak appearance, but it's not.
It is.
It is that fish, yeah, because that's
Yeah.
the shower and that's the Ginrin Shura Sura. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
He's done very well with that.
He's done all right there, isn't he?
I think it worked. I don't think he paid a lot for it neither, did he?
That weren't an expensive fish now. Dave Bradley says, great live. See you Sunday. Safe travels up early for work. Take it easy, mate. Speak to you at the weekend.
But I'm not the first one to go
Dale
to bed.
says, see you all at the weekend bedtime. Good night, mate. See you at weekend.
Quite appreciation, isn't it? They're going.
Yeah. Guaranteed. Oh,
Oh.
wow.
It's different.
That's a bit of something different, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in the right category.
I say it's a sort of
It's
a
metallic,
marmite
isn't it?
fish, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Inazumu kind of
It's
pattern.
like it's more like a Yamato, isn't it?
Yoshiki Goi Metallic Doitsu Buddha Goromo. What's it look like now, Cole? Sorry, Marcus. Cole.
Okay, so again, look at the fin, front right fin. Again, I'm being very picky.
It's just the short ray, but the skin quality is lovely. But
Yeah, it has a short ray there on it, but
she's not really.
it looks like it's almost lost its front ray, doesn't it?
And then these are little, like the little things that people miss.
Yeah, but the Garoma should have Robin in the scales, really, innit? And it doesn't really work, Doits, does it?
No.
But the skin quality is amazing.
Yeah.
Alison Dales. Oh, very similar-ish to yours, Dave.
It is, but it's a bit better than mine.
Dave, yours
Oh,
ain't
let's
bad,
put a
mate.
bit more food in that feeder and fatten it up a bit,
Right.
mate.
It's full. They're getting fed like 7 times or 8 times a day now.
Up feed them.
It's not one pellet at a time, Dave. You got to put some more in.
Oh, don't you start, Rick. I have enough with gas complaining.
There we go. That's another nice one. Appreciation, not interrogation.
I like the Sankey at the bottom. Sorry.
No, it's difficult because the colour of that's beautiful. I like that deep sort of purple colour, but it's just showing the sort of age with the speckly bits in it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one down there.
mine's
There's another one underneath there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's got 2 videos, Gus.
Oh, I've got another video.
But when you say with it going special,
yes.
that's what mine's gone to now.
There you go. Alison, when you get to the Koi show this weekend, make sure you buy yourself a blue bowl.
Blue bowl.
Oh, next time fella's in there, in his floating lilo, get him to hold one in his hands. 2 nice ones again.
It's just that richness of colour, isn't it? That purpley colour is just lovely.
Yeah.
It is, but like you said, when it gets to a certain age, like with mine, you can start to see the underlying colours underneath that as well.
What's it
When you-
with?
Oh, you're right.
I think I wrote those out then.
On the end of his fingers, man. That's when it's got it out like that, but 2 little hands on the end of his fingers. Look.
What's these ones? They don't come through, mate. Nothing there. It's blanker. Try send it again, Robert. Let's just have a quick refresh in case anybody else has uploaded anymore. Oh, Marcus, that's nice as well, mate. But that's for another evening.
Ginrin, though, isn't it? That's till next week, isn't it?
That's for next week, yeah. Just to make sure we don't miss none. That is nice, that one. I like that. Yeah, that's it. Pick your winners, ladies and gents.
I'll have a look at Sally's again. And then Marcus's first one.
That's very nice, that.
And Marcus's, mate.
That's second place for me.
Yeah, Rob,
Yeah,
you know, you
I
just
think
put in,
second.
you put in there, Rob, that you sent it, but it didn't come through. It's just blank. Send it again, mate. Tony's one is second.
No, that's Sally's. Sally's is second.
So that is Sally's first one.
Me. Yeah. But that's Sally's.
Marcus's first one.
Marcus's
I
first.
think it was Marcus's first one.
This one.
Yeah. But that's an absolute banger. The skin quality on that is insane.
No, we've got one more that's just been sent through. Hopefully.
Oh no.
No,
Oh, God, here we go again.
It's nice, but it's about
Benny's
2 years
deepened.
away.
Benny's deepened, isn't it?
I prefer the more purple coloured. They look a little bit too Kahako.
That's the only thing for me. Sometimes I think they look like a dirty Kahaku.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they're a different, still got.
Yeah, I know.
development to go,
But
haven't they?
this will look different when it comes further up more with the development on it, won't it? You can see it's underneath there, can't you? You can see it's here.
Yeah, so,
It's going to grow like a proper, but
yeah, it's
Which
got
is
a bone
probably-
structure to be filthy on. Yeah,
for me, Marcus's first one is
yeah, and then Sally second for me.
I'm
Same
agreeing.
as that.
Fucking Crafty, we should get a job together.
Well, I think that's probably. That might be one of the first times we've agreed over it.
So you're saying Sally's is number 1,
Two.
and
No,
then
number
Marcus
2.
is number 2.
No.
Other way around. Marcus is number 1, Sally's is second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's getting third then to top it all off?
DT just for turning up.
Oh, no, the other bugger grow, not mine.
3.
DT for turning up.
Oh, thank
I like
you.
that.
Cheers.
Put some more water on your bowl next time.
Some firm away.
Yeah. And some food in its belly.
What are you pointing at there then?
A fish.
It's a video that'll be coming out later this year, Crafty, when I've done the end of season bowl up.
Good skin on there, Dave.
Yeah, I was mentioning the Saroji on it, other bits and pieces.
But it is don't take it. This is constructive, Dave.
Yes,
It is a little on the thin side. It needs some more meat to it, man.
It's
Needs
as male as a day
Yeah.
long, isn't it?
but
It needs
that
it needs to get some size on it. It needs to get some size on it so it goes through winter with some bulk on.
and that's what it's doing now because, like I said, towards the back end of last season,
Feed it
is when
some
I had
brown
that
bread.
problem in my pond.
Feed it some brown bread, mate.
Okay.
Chips and
Sorry,
burgers.
I've only got
Straight
best
up,
of both.
listen, that was from Ryan. Started out last week. You want to bulk a fish up and bulk it up quick. Feed it brown bread.
Until it shits it out again.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it will be brown bread.
Yeah.
There you go. That's that.
Yeah, Sally's is lovely, but for me, that one from Marcus wins it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Marcus is number 1. Congratulations, sir. Sally, you romped him with a number 2. And
Sally
DT
romped him, not again.
romped him with a number 2. So Sally's got one of everything. She can literally put a fish in every kind
Sounds
of
got
catch.
2 of everything.
So
Yeah.
it was romping in with number 2s.
Oh, Pinky says we have a blue ball, but we broke our net. So we'll be buying one at the show Saturday. Lorraine
I've
says
got a
you
topic.
guys can judge at the weekend. And
I've got a
Marcus
topic
says,
to bring
"Thanks,
up,
chap."
Jess.
Go on. Fire away.
I read an article today in
Reader's Digest.
about
Dear Deirdre.
about dealers' koi auctions, dealers' koi auctions, and they're not a good thing because of what is said during said auctions and certain fish being pushed as hardtails, etc. Personally, I don't agree with the said attitude towards the narrative that was written in that, because it was, these things should be, on a face-to-face sort of scale, so you can see the fish in the flesh, etc. And quite often, fish are sold via social media on koi auctions that are not what these dealers say they're going to be, which to me was a personal opinion, an unbalanced argument. So I want to put a question to you guys. What are your thoughts on koi auctions via social media? And then I will add like from somebody that does it, a couple of items that I think needs to be put in to make it a balanced view rather than a view that is very negative and one-sided.
Oh, so that's a big question.
First one then. I think dealers' auctions is good. I've bought a lot of mine like that. I just steer clear of the auctions with clout attached.
I think the amount of people that have learned a lot of shit off these auctions.
All my
is
fish
insane.
are off koi auctions.
I don't think you should buy all of it. But at the end of the day, the amount of information given on a koi auction about fish, the variety, the breeder, the development is insane. Yeah. Some people approach it different. We do it, and I'll probably knock them down. Other people do it and build them up. But the reality is, you learn shitloads. And if you buy one from an auction, and it turns up and you think, actually, that's a lot better value than I could buy from where I normally go or wherever it is it a bad thing? At the end of the day, again, it's dealers. It's dealers. If you trust your dealer and people are selling you this thing that's way above price and it's just bigging it up, they're probably, a bit of a Del boy, aren't they? If they're being honest about it, they're being honest about it. I don't get. It's got to be positive for people to have a bit of entertainment, learning from it, and see you're going to get offered fish. Sometimes sometimes some will go above price retail value, but most of the time they'll be going under retail value because that's just how auctions generally work.
That's the nature of the beast, isn't it? Yeah.
Marcus, I've bought quite a few fish this year, mostly for auctions, all of them without visiting a dealer. Colin, only you can decide what you pay. Simple.
You can get swept up, can't you?
Well, only if you're not prepared to let a fish go. That you really. But at the end of the day, there's nobody twisting your arm to make that next bid, is there?
No.
Yeah, but there is. With normal stuff, you would get a cooling off period, wouldn't you? But when you're dealing with live fish, you're selling it, and it's a different animal. And if that's made clear that this fish is being shipped to you, you can't send it back. It's not like, I'd had a few beers and got carried away. I don't want to pay for it anymore. It's the nature of the beast. Some people,
fish, though.
Yeah, but some people buy shit and then just think you don't buy it, you don't actually pay for it, or you could send it back because you can do that clothes, can't you? You buy them.
Yeah. This isn't Amazon, though, is it?
No, and I think if you approach it in the right manner, and at the end of the day, I don't know how many auctions are going on, but those people can't keep doing auctions. If those fish go off to places and die, or are crap, or whatever, they'd soon have no one following them, would they? Their viewing figures will go down. If they're selling stuff that's good, their viewing figures will go up, and people will buy more, and they'll start getting the price. What do you pay for? I don't know, a 30 centimetre Sackler Company Gimrin Sankey. You could pay £3,000 or 300 quid, but you're not going to get them much cheaper than that. You've got a playing field. You can go on the auction. You can go on their sites in Japan when they're selling them, see what they sell for.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they can only be a good thing, and if people want to buy that way because they can't buy any other way, or because they're not, it's the entertainment as well.
It is.
You haven't got 150 people watching an auction. They're not all bidding on fish, are they?
No, they're banter. They're talking to each other.
No, there's people just there having a chat between the comments. There's people there just for pure entertainment of it. There's people there to watch the laughter and banter and jokes that might be going on.
A lot
between
of
it all. And these people are learning from,
But you learn a different way as well, couldn't you? The way technology and everything is moving, a lot of people are moving to selling more things online and virtual ways. So you're always going to have that twist between both, aren't you?
I mean, the thing is, Dave, you can have people that are disabled that can't get to a dealer. I mean, this is fantastic for them.
Not everyone can drive up and down the country, 100%.
No, totally agree with that one.
There you go, Tony Barker. I've had some really good bargains in online auctions.
He just loves it, doesn't he?
Have that, Rick.
I mean, me personally, I've never ordered a fish off a auction. I've tried bidding a few times. I've been outbid, but yeah, I think it's a very good thing.
You're prepared to go to Dasford. You're looking at that fish for in your mindset, isn't it? And you go,
exactly. There's nowhere to stop.
Yeah.
It's a bit like gambling, I suppose, but not really. But the one thing I would say is go with someone reputable that knows about fish, because some auctions, the guys haven't got the knowledge, and like I said, they're bigging the fish up, and it's a load of nonsense. I'm not mentioning names or anything.
They're not being funny though. You could go to any shop in the country,
Yeah,
and you can go to somewhere and someone would pick up a fish in front of your face, wouldn't they? So
yeah,
it's not, a koi is what. At the end of the day, you could buy the best fish in the world for 500 quid. Amazing fish. You take it home, smacks its head on a pump, jumps out, splits it in, penny falls off. It's a piece of crap. You've got no value left in it.
yeah.
It's a live thing, isn't it? You can't.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing you say on your auctions and that, you can't guarantee a fish. It's livestock, innit? It could get to you, and then like you do, Rick. Sometimes if one of your fish unfortunately down a certain time, you'll ask why and whatever. And, if it natural causes, well, we can either refund you or offer you something else, or it's all down to each dealer what their sort of values are on that side of things, isn't it?
And at the end of the day, that's a dealer's policies, isn't it? So Crafty quite clearly states before an auction, this is like non-refundable. You pay for it. You've got to adhere to this. Right. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I probably
Terms and
don't
conditions.
so we should, but it's But at the end of the day, if someone buys a fish from us in November and wants it held, we don't charge nothing. We hold it to April. And if it
until
jumps
Rick
out,
agrees to start shipping to the US, he's just a tease in my eyes.
oh. But that's the thing. Our policies are different to other people. Some people will give you 24 hours. Some people will give you 48 hours. Some people will give you 2 weeks. Some people will hold a fish for winter. Some people will charge you weekly for a fish over winter. Every dealer's got their space.
Some people will give you your own VAT.
Give your own flat. Yeah, I think.
I think they're brilliant, me. And I mean, yes, as of yet, I've never actually purchased a fish. I've bid on one or two, but I've never purchased a fish on an auction. But I think the main thing about an auction for me is it gives people the opportunity, no matter where you are in the country, to be able to get a fish from somewhere that you might not necessarily be able to go to without having to travel for 4 to 6 hours to get down there. And then traveling back, there's fuel expense on top of that. And that fish that you purchase when you get down to the shop, you're definitely getting a better bargain online when it comes to an auction, because you can limit yourself. You've only got 25 quid for some, 30 quid for others, for postage. That's saving you a shitload on fuel if you're taking a 6 hour there and 6 hour back on it. You can actually save some really good money.
Yeah. And
get to see what they've got and what they've got available and have it delivered to your door without the hassle. I mean, it's win-win if you ask my opinion.
Yeah.
The only you get, there is issues with it sometimes, isn't it? So you do videos, which is good. You see the fish swimming and whatever, but it's hard to see. A photo sometimes gives you can bring it up and have a much closer look at a fish, which you sometimes can't in a video, but there's either or. But most dealers are going to pick fish that are decent to put in an auction, because you're going to walk around your bats and go, that stands out, that's nice, I put that in an auction. And a lot of the time you don't occasionally want to go crazy, but generally they sell for their value or below their value, because a lot of your customers already know what the fish are about, don't they? But I don't know. I don't. Who knows?
No, you're right, Rick. You're right. I mean, just to state what Tony Barker rates, maybe Crafty, the author of the said article, just has an axe to grind. Yes, and I think there is an element of what's written in there is an axe to grind. But when you're putting an article into a magazine that states, like I said, a very biased point of view based on experience, it paints the wrong picture of those people that are reading the article, because there are people out there that put a lot of time, effort, and reputation on the line for when it comes to this sort of thing, because you're exposed. And if you're going to write an article about auctions, yes, there is the good, yes, there is the bad, but ultimately, it doesn't matter what sales position you put yourself. You know, there's a flip side to the coin for everything, but you know, there's a huge amount of positive lights coming down in the comments there. You know, and for me, it's having the ability to put the shop or the fish, select fish from the shop, onto a platform where everyone in the UK has got the ability to see it, learn from it, buy it. But also, it gives me the position where I can showcase what our shop is about. So, therefore, marketing, you know, it's there, and it exposes us to those new people that come in that have probably never been down to my shop, you know, and then, you know, that attracts them down to the shop to see 54 ponds, you know, of sales fish, etc., etc. So, on top of that, there are certain fish that actually you haven't got the ability to even see in person because they're in Japan, and there's an auction that goes on. You know, yeah, by all means, it's different because it's more of a silent auction. You're buying from a picture and a video, but that takes away from the fact that it should be a face-to-face type of event, because, you know, quite a lot of the fish that we bid on, you know, as a shop, well, I say quite a lot, all of them fish in Japan, we don't see them in the flesh before we actually buy them. You know, you're going off of what your eyes see, which is no different to what you're doing online. And I like what Marek put up. He mutes the volume and looks at the picture.
No, turn down the volume and use my eyes to see if it fits the criteria, and don't let the get taken in by the hype. So he looks at it and thinks the price is not even an issue. If that's what I like and that's what I like, I'm bidding on it and I'll have it.
Yeah, and then don't get caught up in the hype that can surround around the fish. It's written in a way that, you know, if there's a bit of, and I'll quote it, maybe not verbatim, but there's a part that says, if there weren't no Benny in the peck, this fish would be twice as much. Well, actually, you know, that's, you know, is that pushing a hard sale, or is that being factual? You know, that's, to me, that's not a negative. It's the fact that you're pointing out a negative.
You're pointing out a flaw.
And you're saying, look, you know,
out a flaw out there, and then saying
the rest of the quality is there.
Yeah,
you know, so it depends which angle that you look at certain things and what perspective you take from that. But for me, online auctions are fucking absolutely, you know, I look forward to doing them as a dealer, you know, and quite often, as that knob sat next to me knows, you know, I'll sell fish that are way under shop price, you know, and it's one of them that, you know, you only have to look at the Hiatsuri that I sold. You know, I think it was 700 quid. You know, that was 1,400 quid in the shop. So, you know, and it's from one of the best breeders in the world.
The Karashi guy.
You know,
300 quid.
Another, you know, there's been a lot of fish that sold for well under the market value, and actually, it is massively outweighed to the viewer on the price that they take the fish for. Quite often, I have made money from some fish in comparison to what they go for in the shop, but on a scheme, the balance of things, we lose a huge amount of money doing the online auctions. You know,
it's also moving stock though, isn't it? So at the end of the day, that Hiatsuri is 1,400 quid in the shop, hasn't sold for a year, so its market value is probably not 1,400 quid at that time.
Yeah,
it's a bit less. And if you'd put it for 1,200 quid in the shop to start with, you might have sold it for 1,200. But comes a point you need the space. Every shop, everyone does. So you've got to take what you take. And that's a bargain for someone, isn't it?
Totally. You know,
create the space.
That's the appeal of the auction.
That's my bedtime.
See you later, DT, mate. But yeah, you're right, mate.
I'll see you at the show.
See you, Dave.
Hello, mate. Hope you get a train in the right direction. I think auctions are the best, some of the best information people will get. If someone is selling the fish and not hyping up a fish, going, oh, this is fucking amazing. It's the best ever Gimrin. Whatever you're going to find, you're never going to see one of these. But if they're actually telling you stuff about a fish, yeah, the sashi, the kiwa, oh, the fins are nice, the body shape's nice. Unfortunately, the reason it's 200 quid is, I don't know, it's lacking a bit of Benny towards the back end, or the sumi's not great. Whatever, you'll learn in all the time.
Yeah.
And the more
totally.
and the people that know more about koi probably benefit more from auctions for buying fish, because actually they know what they're looking at and can go, fuck, that's a bargain. You know, I can see now that's a bargain. Other fish are not, they're well away from that. Someone else can have that. Colin can have that one.
Yeah, but, you know, and that's when I read the article, it sort of made me fume a bit, because it was so pushed down the don't do this route that you know, I might be wrong. Have a see if you can find the article. I'm not going to say where it was, because it'd be the wrong thing to do. But it didn't paint the picture like so. If articles are written, there needs to be a balance, because, you know, irrespective of whether it's a personal axe to grind or not, it paints the wrong picture for everybody that reads an article about koi auctions.
But I don't. How's it different to selling your fish on a website where you've got a photo and a video? You tell them as much information about it as you can. But in an auction, you actually make it come alive, don't you? Okay, so it comes down to sales, and you can big stuff up. But at the end of the day, it's no different to me being in the shop and there's a tank of fish and there's a fish swimming around there no one's looked at for 2 months. But then there's a customer there, they're after saying, I'll put it in a bowl, start chatting about it. The next customer stood over there listening. Next thing, they've looked in the bowl. If you're not having it, I'll have it.
That's right.
Like, hang on.
Yeah.
It's been said.
There's no difference, is there?
You're fighting over it. And it's like, but you can sort of start to appreciate aspects of it you wouldn't perhaps see swimming around a tank of 100 other fish.
Which is exactly what we said last week, hasn't it, with the selection I pulled out. It's like, I got so many people saying, where the fuck do you keep these, Crafty? And it's like, they're always there.
They're always in the
just,
shop.
You just don't see them.
Yeah.
You get almost koi. It's hard to look in a tank of fish sometimes and actually spot the gems amongst. There's not even many of the gems, but it's just there's too many. It's too much going on, and certain fish catch your eye that aren't particularly maybe good, but they catch your eye because pattern or something about them's different. Different type of fish in a vat. You put a shishu in a tank of kahakus, everyone wants to buy it. Give it the crappiest shishu you've got in the shop, but it's blue and amongst the red. So yeah, I think if they're done in the right way, auctions are brilliant. But it's got to be done in a manner that, like you say, they're fish that you're honest about. It is from this breeder or from wherever, it's this size, it will potentially do right. It looks like this is a good point, this is a bad point, whatever. You know, your ballpark figure should be somewhere between 300 and 500 quid. But at the end of the day, if two people really want it, it might go to 700-800 quid. If no one wants it, they might get it for 200 quid. And
I've had one standout auction for a fish that went through the roof, and it was a 2-horse race, people bidding against it, and it sold for about £120 more than what we would have expected in store. And, you know, that being said, it was a fucking nice fish. But again, two people decided what they wanted to pay for that fish because they liked it so much.
There's anything wrong with that, mate?
And that's not paying over the odds. That's paying for what you think that fish is worth. As long as you've got that discipline to be able to say enough's enough, right? And if you get caught in that war, that's on you. That's not on me as a dealer, because if you want to pay that money, you crack on. And Momotaro and Dainichi and Sakai would all say the same thing. You know, they'd say, "Thank you very much. You've bid £25,000 for that fish, and afterwards you've gone, shit. Really wish I didn't do that. Too late. You've done it."
Yeah.
It's no different to anyone that goes out to Japan and goes out and they've gone out there to buy fish and they start seeing those and they can't help themselves. And the dealer's like, this lot there, these are my select ones. You want to pick one? They're 400 quid each. And you're like, I love that and I love that. Take them home. But you find out that pond you could have had, if you bought 50 of them in a console box. They were 40 quid each or whatever. But you pick 50 you want. That's part and parcel. You know, you what do people pay $5,000 for a dog? Or you go down a pound and get for whatever. You know, it's anything. It's life.
Yeah.
If you want something that badly,
you'll pay what you think it's worth, won't you? Yeah. If you want it and there's somebody else interested in it, you've either got to.
But I think the reality of auctions is
the
vast majority of fish go for under the value they should go for.
Yeah,
they fucking do and all.
That's why people watch auctions and get in there and go, you know, this is you look at them, don't you? You watch them. If you think there's 6 fish in that auction I like, you have your budget set. You watch them. If no one's interested, you start bidding. If people are interested, you leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I think that the problem with you can upscale a fish beyond its potential. That can be an issue. You know, if someone gets carried away and says, this fish can easily do 80 centimeters by the time it's 3 years old or whatever, and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. And actually, reality, but chances are it's not going to do anything like that unless you've got the seriously.
Yeah, the right skills, ponds, etc. Yeah.
But that's part and parcel of it. Anyone keeping koi should have a bit of knowledge about it. If you're going to start spending money on fish on an auction, you should have a bit of knowledge about the bloodline, where it's coming from, what it's going to do. If it's 17 centimeters at 18 months old, chances are it's not going to grow massive. Well, that's it, Colin. I do not, Colin, mate. I wasn't even there this week.
Colin paid the right price for his fish this week.
The right price. Yeah, but like Tony Barker was saying, he's got some bargains. That Sankey got, I bailed out.
Exactly.
I have a point, but mate, that fish is an absolute banger. And I still kick myself. I should have gone a bit higher. But he would have gone a bit higher. And I'd have gone a bit higher. He'd have gone a bit higher.
Yeah. So you have the discipline to say,
either going to keep going or back out, aren't they? That's the nature of the auction. That's how it works, isn't it?
That's how an auction works.
Yeah. I don't see if there's any difference between an auction in a fish and an auction in a pocket watch or an auction in an antique. It is what the person is willing to pay and a market that can be brought to people on a digital format. This is all. That's the only difference.
Flip it slightly, right? I was in the Ezra never normally goes in the arcade. He don't do it. We were at the holiday park. He don't do arcades, but he saw some like little earbuds he wanted, and you got to get tickets to win them from the machines. You put money in, and for the first time he started doing the machines and whatever, and he was putting money in and getting his tickets, and he needed 14,000 tickets, and I was like, at this rate, you're going to need 35 quid to get your tickets, but they're only worth 15, 20 quid, whatever. But the joy he was getting from trying to win the tickets outweighed trying to actually get the earbuds. I could have given him 15 quid to get the earbuds, but after a while, so you got to outweigh it. He was loving that.
Yeah, he was enjoying himself.
Tickets and the tickets he could get the earbuds, so it's a double winner, isn't it?
Yeah,
part of the experience as well.
He was ended up paying 5 quid more for the earbuds through the tickets, but he's had 2 hours of buzzing his nuts off the machine.
Your wallet was getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah, but I think it was a bargain because he won the earbuds for a little bit more than I could have gotten for. But he had 2 hours of absolute buzzing, beating the machine to get
Which meant that you could have a couple more of them in the background without kids fussing around you. Don't get you, mate. Exactly
you
what you do.
sometimes don't see that, do you? That joy of actually trying to get the tickets was a lot better than just paying for the earbuds in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, and the other part for me is that, you know, there's a huge amount of fish available online that is done through a picture and a video that don't even get any narrative. You look at it yourself and you pay the price that's on the screen. That's the full price. You know, it's like, which way do you go?
I think the problem, there is. It's like anything in it. If there's,
he thought he won, and that's what it's about.
Well, he loved it. I won. I got extra beers. He went. Now he's addicted. He's still there 4 days later.
He's still not got his earbuds.
But yeah, I think auctions on the whole, if someone that knows what they're talking about is talking about a particular fish and explaining about it, there's 100 people learning stuff. There's 100 people interacting in a community, enjoying it. And there's 1 or 2 mugs trying to buy it, but that's not fair, because at the end of the day, the seller might be the mug, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, it's the same. You can talk about anything to do with anything. It's good sides and bad sides. It's cowboys. I say Indians, but they're not really Indians. Cowboys and
no. I think the experience has got to come from those people that are bidding the money. You've got to look at the person and the person that's selling the fish and the establishment they come from. I think that carries its weight in gold as well.
I mean, it does. I mean, there's a difficult bit in that. Obviously, I've watched a few of the comments. It's hard to be critical of a fish without being negative.
Yeah.
So if you're watching a fish and you want to say to someone, actually, the body, it's a bit short in the body, it's not, or whatever, but it's hard to put that in a comment without sounding like a complete arsehole.
Yes.
So that is the one thing about it. So it's either all positive, that's amazing, or if someone says something, and it is quite difficult to critique a fish without coming across as an arse.
Or taken away from the value of its worth.
Yeah. So, but to be fair, the person selling it should be about, this is honestly what it is. This shimmy on the side, or this blemish, or this lack of pattern, or whatever, is why it's 50 quid, 100 quid, 200 quid, 400. That's why its value is kind of limited to where it is. A good fish, it's hard, isn't it? As a dealer selling them, you're trying to get the maximum for them as a business, but you've also got to be honest.
You've got to be mindful that you have to be mindful about where it is, in order to bring the hammer down.
It's difficult. As a dealer, you almost need a ceiling price where it sells. This is its true value, and if it goes beyond that, the first person. But you never have a bottom price, do you? So you always end up losing. Some might hit that. 1 in 10 might hit that ceiling price, and then 9 don't get.
Yeah. When you look at the balance, I mean, what I end up doing after my auctions, mate, is I literally, rather than what fish has lost or what has gained, which it's not many that gain.
Cry, mate.
Yeah, I'll work out, average of what each fish sold for. That way, it takes away that element of bollocks to me. So actually, when you look at it as an average, it's not too bad. We haven't done too bad overall.
But at the end of the day, if you turn around and said, we sold 10 fish tonight, we sold them for 10% less across the board than we would have done in the shop or whatever, we've lost money. But we've actually
There's a question.
We've now got more people that want to come to see us in the shop. We've now advertised. Where else do you advertise in this business anymore? It's a nightmare.
That's so true, mate. It's something that I had a chat about this week, actually. It's about exposure and how do you expose. I was lucky enough in my job to bring a social media following with me that helped, but ultimately, if you're starting from scratch, that would be just fucking nigh on, you're 2 years down the road before you're really out there, unless you're attending koi shows or spent ploughing money into marketing in magazines and things like that. And even then, that don't give you the right exposure sometimes.
So literally, not being funny, we used to have probably 20 years ago a 10 to 15 grand advertising budget.
Wrong and shit.
That doesn't exist. Where do you put that, mate? So that all goes into Google, it goes into YouTube, social media, online magazine. But it's difficult to. Where do you put? You can't put that money anywhere, so you have to try and do things differently. You know,
Yeah,
I think
it's evolved massively.
Do auctions devalue? I don't think they do. I think at the end of the day, they bring people to your shop. So yes, the fish themselves potentially could not gain as much value as they're worth as you could sell in the shop. But if you don't have people in the shop,
They don't sell.
business, have you? You need to
No,
bring.
that's true. But that's down to the person that's running the auction to, you know, if they're not prepared to sell it, then they don't sell it. You know, it's there are certain fish that I've let go too cheaply that we have, you know, potentially about broken even on. But also, I didn't have to sell that fish. But on the flip side of the coin, it gets people talking, you know, and people tune in, and you know, you start to improve on your audience figures. So you know, there's elements of what you do as a trader that is an investment in itself. So you don't see it as a loss; you see it as exposure. You know, you turn that negative into a positive.
You go to a koi show, you pay 1,500 quid. You got to take 3 staff, and you've got to sell fish at a lower price than you perhaps would have done.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to. So before you know it, you've been there for 2 days. You've done 10 grand, but actually, fuck all of that's profit. You've broken even or whatever.
Right.
But you've got your name out there, and you'll have more people come to the shop and buy fish.
Yeah,
there's
that's the exposure.
There's very little overheads to an auction, is there? The running cost of an auction, as opposed to having your fish in shop, in house, selling them and sales like that. You're not at work. You don't have to have all the lights on. You don't have to have customer traffic coming in. Blah 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 blah. You're literally from the comfort of where you're doing it. That's a percentage of more profit.
To be fair, it's a bit of half a dozen of one and six on the other on there, Gus, because the way that, you know, you evolve the experience for the consumer. You know, for example, I went from doing a live selection now to doing a pre-recorded one to upload it, etc., etc. So, all depending on, again, the quality of what you're putting across. So, you know, I could just do one single take and upload that to YouTube, but I don't. I do takes and then upload the videos and then sit there, edit them through, stitch them together, put the overlays on, a little bit of music in the background, you know, looking at peaks and troughs when you talk, etc. That all takes time, but with that time becomes a better experience.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about putting the quality in. So when you actually stitch everything together, 3 to 4 hours on an auction, you've got an hour for selection, you've got probably 3-4 hours worth of 3 hours or 4 hours worth of editing, and then uploading and monitoring what goes on. And then, you know, you've then got the other side, which is doing more videos of the same fish ready for the auction night. That takes about hour and a half to collect the fish together, photograph them individually, and then upload them, and then make all the overlays for StreamYard when the auction comes on. So all in all, it is a fair few hundred quid when you look at the wage and the resource cost, you know, of putting that together. But you know, ultimately, though, you know, you build that into the business as usual overheads for a business, because if it was in a shop, I wouldn't put all that work in. But then if someone wanted to come and select a fish, I am looking at, you know, for serious people, sometimes 30 to 40 minutes of selecting fish from the pond into a bowl, etc., to seal a deal on one fish. So when you look at the pros and the cons, it's actually probably more economical to do it as an auction than what it is spend 30 minutes for each fish and bowling them up, and you know, but then you lose that face-to-face sort of one-on-one experience. But you know, you pick it up in an auction. There's pros and cons to it all, really.
There is.
Yeah.
You ready, Daz?
Yeah.
And relax.
You bore the hell out of me with bloody auction nonsense.
Oh,
That's deep, mate. That.
No, I really am sleepy.
Do you know what? That reminds me of the soft play song. That makes me want to be violent.
Chasing Toy
That's
comes
the
in with a
alcohol.
knock-knock panel. People, others, hope all is well. Just at the point where we're about to say
Good night.
usual thing, guys. If you've enjoyed this type of content this evening, could you do us a huge favour? Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. And until next time, Daz, keep sleeping.
Keep
Keep
snoring.
awake.
You nearly went there, mate. A full lot of that. Full and
Yeah.
everything. You've had an hard day's graft, mate, and you deserve it. You deserve to have 5 minutes power nap. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening. We will be having any type of ring for next week's Koi Appreciation. So if you want to get your pictures in, send them through to the usual spot as usual. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one.
No, see you at the weekend.
Yeah, see you at the
In
weekend at the
fact,
show.
yes, we will see you. I might, in fact, keep your eye out for a live, because if we can, we should be going to a festival. And oh shit, mine's empty, Rick. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, mine's empty.
We might get a chance to get a bit of a live in as well.
Mine could be empty. Stainless
Mine's
steel.
empty as well.
That is empty. Everybody's empty. Night all. Catch you on the next one.
You're a bunch of cricket bats.
Oh, actually, have I got the little meme? Have I got the little meme?
Oh, yeah.
We're still live, Rick. Hang fire 1 minute. We're still live. We're still live. Let's see if we can see if I can find it. I don't even know where I put the damn thing. Where did I put it, Crafty?
It was on the end of a video, mate, I've seen.
It was, wasn't it? Shoot.
You probably deleted it, knowing you, Gaz.
I need to learn to delete stuff.
Oh, Gaz deletes too much stuff. He deletes useful stuff.
Right, I'll go for a week. Oh.
Cricket bat.